Hello, gamers. You're listening to the Short Pause Gaming Podcast, episode 102.
And welcome back to another exciting episode of the Short Pause Gaming Podcast. I'm, of course, Ben Boyce. Joining me, usually, almost always, Mr. Frankie Ayler, my compatriot in the Midwester. How you doing tonight, bud?
Cold.
Yeah. What happened, man?
I made a mistake. Horrible mistake. Which apparently I do every January 23rd, oddly enough.
What'd you do?
I decided to shave my beard. Foolishly, of course, because I'm renewing my driver's license this year, so now every time I pull out my license, I'll have to stare at my ugly, hairless face. It's depressing. Look like a beluga whale.
Oh, man.
The beardless Frankie. So what goes into this decision, man, to shave the beard? To take me through the process.
So typically, when I know it's time is, you eat pizza, you eat tacos, you eat all kinds of stuff with sauce on it, gets everywhere, and, you start getting hair mixed in with your food, and it's just not fun. You start trimming it, and then, of course, it's me, so at some point trimming it, I'm going to mess up somewhere, because, while, yes, at some point it grows in and all of it looks even, it's not. So usually when I trim it up, the parts that aren't even show, so I'm like, it has to go. The whole thing just has to go.
So
it's
beard trimming skills not the greatest.
No, not at all.
I think you look good, man. I don't think you look like a beluga whale. So
Thanks, man.
So that's Frankie. You know Frankie. And if you're an astute viewer, an astute listener of the show, you hear a different voice, you see a different face on the other side of the podcast here. Now, Frankie joining us for the first time ever. Not only for the first time we're going to have JD from the Play and Listen podcast here on the show, a friend of the show, but this is the first ever guest host we've ever had on the Short Pause Gaming podcast. 102 episodes in. This is the first guy who's ever made his way into the guest chair. So, JD, no pressure, man. But welcome to the show, dude. How's it going?
It's going good, man. It's an honor and a privilege to be on, and thanks for not putting any pressure on me, man. Feels great.
Nah, man, we're just gonna kick back, talk some games. It'll be a good time. So what's been up with you, man? How's everything been going?
Pretty good, man. Just how it is, man. Working, trying to fit in as much gaming as possible.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. Well, you're obviously the host of the Play and Listen Gaming podcast. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your history, man? Your history with the podcast, your history with gaming. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Introduce yourself to our fine listeners out there.
Yeah, man. Been a gamer literally my whole life. You know the drill with that. Most of us who are this invested in gaming have been. Yeah, man. And with work and everything, I don't really have a radio to listen to at work, like a regular FM radio or any satellite radio. So I started downloading gaming podcasts, and about 50% of them I couldn't stand, and they pissed me off so much that I decided, you know what, I'm gonna just do my own thing, man. See how it goes, see how much fun it could be, and I don't think people play enough gaming music on these podcasts, which is an integral part of gaming is the music itself, going all the way back to that classic World 1 Level 1 Mario tune. So yeah, man, I just decided I wanted to do something like that, where we talk a little bit of games, play some gaming music, and try to make something cool out of it.
Yeah, for sure, man. So the whole the hook behind your show is that not only do you talk about what your thoughts are on gaming, what's going on in the gaming world, but you also dive into the musical side of things. You kind of get into the soundtracks, some of your favorite tracks. So it's a cool show, man. I enjoy listening to it every week. If you listen, you'll probably hear some of these guys on there. quite a bit lately. Frankie, I think, is on your show more than he's on our show. So, so if you want a taste of some extra Frankie Ayler, make sure you tune into JD's podcast. But where can we find it though, man? It's on SoundCloud and iTunes, right?
Yes. For now, it's on SoundCloud and it's on iTunes. If you just put in into the search play and listen gaming podcast, you'll find it. And yeah, I'm working on some stuff for YouTube. There's a little bit up there now. It's the same name for the YouTube channel, but yeah, it's at this point it's not really worth checking out much yet. But soon there will be some stuff going up on there. So for now, pretty much SoundCloud and iTunes.
Awesome, man. Well, hey, we're happy to have you here. We're excited to talk some games with you, man. So thanks so much for joining us this evening.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. Let's hop into the proceedings here. Frankie, I want to start with you, man. I want to know what you've been playing, dude. What's been going on this week?
So this has been an exciting week. I'm gonna start with today and go backwards because it gets better going backwards.
Little in media res.
Yeah.
Is there something like that?
So today,
dude, you should do it like Pulp Fiction. Like we should start yesterday. We should go to Tuesday. Then maybe we'll jump back up to Wednesday. We'll just kind of we'll do it a little.
It's a Royale with cheese.
That's actually perfect. We'll do that. Perfect. All right. So today, I got home last night. Jen's out. At her parents' house, hanging out with her sister. So I'm just sitting here, like scrolling through all the stuff on what I had installed on the PlayStation Pro. I got a Pro, by the way. That's new.
Congratulations, man. Yeah. Did we not talk about that yet?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't think so.
Wait, Frankie's got a Pro.
I did.
Good stuff, man.
I bought a Pro. It's great. I got the VR USB cable out of the way, and it's gorgeous. Love it. So I downloaded a handful of games last week, when I got it all set up, and one of those games, of course, being Guns, Gore, and Cannoli. This game came out on Xbox One back in 2015, I want to say, and then I think it came to PS4 sometime last spring. But I played it on Xbox, liked it a lot, bought it on PlayStation, trophies, So I finally sat down and played through that in its entirety. Pro tip for you, achievement and trophy hunters. Play through it on easy, get to the last boss, change the difficulty before you hit the last shot, and you get all the trophies. Same thing with the Technomancer. So yeah, nice. I played through that. That game's really cool, by the way. It's like a 2D. It's kind of like a stereotypical mobster personality, Vinnie Cannoli. He's sent in to retrieve this Frankie the Fly character because he's the only one who can fly this blimp. You need to leave the city, which is infested with zombies. So
that's why you like the game. It's all becoming clear now.
Yeah.
The narcissist inside you is at ease.
Exactly. He's a hell of a character, that Frankie the Fly. But yeah, it's cool. You got all kinds of different guns. You got some weird experimental things in there, and then your Magnum, your shotguns. It's typical fanfare for that type of game. So it's a good time. Not very long, maybe 3-4 hours. So check that out if you are into those type of games. One of Brent's favorite games from last year, Neverending Nightmares. I finally, after I finished Guns, Gore, and Cannoli, I wanted to play something else and had that installed as well, so I figured, why not finally hop in there and play that. Has a couple frustrating sections with some of the enemies that are in the game, because there's no combat, so there's, you're running away from different enemies or trying to sneak around certain enemies or hiding. So a couple of those were, I texted Brent, I was like, dude, how the hell did you pass this guy? He's like, oh yeah, did you get like broken glass or something? I'm like, oh my god. So yeah, that was a little bit frustrating, but that was a really cool experience. So I'm gonna back up to, of course, Tuesday, which good friend JD and my buddy Madzu from the original Next Level Gaming podcast. We of course played a couple more chapters of Warhammer Vermintide. That was a good time. I think our next stream will be on Thursday night, sometime around 11 p.m. whenever I get home from work, and gather the fellows. And lastly, you'll enjoy this. Restarted The Last of Us.
You sly dog, you.
Yeah, good, so Jen's sister came over, and they announced part 2. Like, she got gung-ho about finally sitting down and playing it, so I wanted to get Yakuza 0 out of the way before, I said, yeah, let's hop in here and play it, so that's kind of what prompted the Pro, actually, was, I don't want to move the VR. That's what it really is. I don't want to move the PlayStation VR around, so It was just more ideal to buy a second PS4, keep that one out there, have the Pro in here. So, a lot easier. So I was like, all right, there, it's out there. Install The Last of Us out there. We're fine. So we're almost to where I had stopped playing it. So I actually just got past the part which was used as like the PAX East demo when that game made its first public appearance. So I don't know, probably about 3 hours in.
Cool.
So I'll be banging on that probably the rest of the weekend. Hopefully finish it. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know how long the game is. So
It's a good. It's probably gonna take you 15 to 20 hours, so you may not finish it this weekend.
damn,
Hope you enjoy it though, man.
it's really good so far.
Yeah, like I said, it's my favorite game of all time. So we've driven that into the ground, though. We don't need to dwell on that any further. Anything else, man? Anything else you've been up to?
No, that's it. Just going through and installing some 360 games on the Xbox One. Shadows of the Damned finally went backwards compatible, so I had that disc sitting here, so I got that installed. So hopefully I'll get a chance to get through that soon, because I don't think I ever finished it on the PS3. Because that's one of those games that the difficulties don't stack, and it was back when I wanted platinum trophies or everything, so I got pissed and stopped playing it. So now that I don't care and its achievements, I'll just run through it on normal finally, just to see it through to the end. So.
Sounds like a plan. Well, I bid you good luck with that, and let's move over to JD, man. What's been going on in your world, dude? What have you been playing?
Yeah, man. As always, I've been playing Halo pretty much every day because I'm addicted to that. I love me some shooters and mixing in some Titanfall. And believe it or not, I still enjoy playing The Division despite its flaws. But more importantly, I've been making an effort to finish like games that I started and maybe kind of put to the side. Something, for example, like Ori and the Blind Forest. I've had that forever. I never got around to playing through it, so I've been working on that and trying not to buy too much new stuff. And also with Breath of the Wild and Andromeda coming out, there's no way I'm going to be playing anything else. So I got to try to get those games done.
Yeah, you got a little bit of time for those ones. Get a good month or so for those things that are upon us. So get as much done as you can, man.
Yeah, because that'll be the end of me when they do come out, man. You guys won't hear from me for a while.
What specific games are you looking to finish? The ones that you haven't that you want to get back to, besides Ori.
Yeah, I got a bunch of things. I want to finish that weird Akiba strip game I got for the PlayStation 4 and
cool.
Tales of Zestiria.
Yeah.
I want to finish those two specifically, but a bunch
How
of
is
the download.
how is Akiba?
It's hard for me to say exactly. Like the reason I bought it was just because it was like a quirky Japanese game, so it instantly satisfied that like craving. So I don't know if how do I put this? If you're looking for a specific type of game, I don't know. Like it's not really so much. The gameplay's all right. It's not bad. It's kind of weird. There's a bunch of like loading screens and stuff like that, but it's visually cool. It's weird and kind of a strange, interesting story. So in that sense, it's not bad. And I think you could get it really cheap. So I'm enjoying it. I think anybody who has a taste for those kind of obscure, strange Japanese games, I think you'll enjoy it for sure.
Is this like a long running series or is this
You know, I'm not 100% sure about that. I just literally walked into GameStop and was like, I want to play a weird Japanese game, man. Show me something. And the guy's like, I got something for you. And he handed that to me. And then I read the back of the game, and it said something along the lines of, the only way to kill these vampires is to strip their clothes off. And I was like, okay, yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah,
That's
sounds like a good
how
time.
I ended up with it.
Can you imagine like Microsoft trying to like sponsor a game like that? They'd read that and they'd be like, no. It's just purely Japanese, you know what I mean? You just can't like do that. Like, you know, it's just there's something about it.
What kind of game is it? Is it like an action game or what is it?
It's like a brawler.
Okay.
You get items and the premise of the combat is there's 3 segments of the body, the legs, torso, and head, and they also, for some reason, the vampires' sunlight doesn't affect their faces. I guess that was their way of having characters walk around without masks on or something. I don't know, but you pick up like frying pans and wiffle ball bats and golf clubs, and you just battle with each other, and you aim for each segment of the body, and then at a certain point, a like damage indicator will show when you can rip the clothes off, and you latch onto that article of clothing from that segment, and you rip it off, and they start getting like sunburnt, and eventually they fry and die. That's it, man. That's the premise of it.
All right, well, that does sound interesting and weird and Japanese.
Yeah, exactly, man. That's all it is, man. It's not winning any Game of the Year awards, but
Yeah.
hits that spot.
Yeah. I occasionally see that one around, and I've always been curious about it. Didn't realize it was quite about that, but yeah, maybe I'll get around to checking that one out one of these days. I always like that weird stuff too. So, as far as myself, I haven't done a whole lot of gaming this week. Spent what little free time I had this week mostly watching Sneaky Pete on Amazon, which is a new show that came out this week, starring or maybe not this week, maybe last week, but starring Giovanni Ribisi and Bryan Cranston. It's an excellent show. Watch it with my wife. It's about con artists. So lots of twists and turns. It's from Bryan Cranston, as well as the creator or one of the showrunners on Justified, which is another show that I really, really liked. And Sneaky Pete has a similar vibe to Justified in the way that it plays out. So if you're at all a fan of Justified, or if you're just a fan of like kind of crime shows and that kind of stuff, definitely check out Sneaky Pete. It's a good show. Lots of twists and turns that keep you guessing. So outside of that, I did fire up Hunter's Legacy on the Thursday night Indie Spotlight. Played it for a little bit. It's basically just a very traditional by the numbers Metroidvania game. It's got a cool art style. I like the look of it. As far as the actual gameplay, it's nothing revolutionary, nothing to write home about, but it works for the most part. The jumping is a little strange in that game, so I wasn't too big on the platforming in the game. But the game itself, it plays well enough. It doesn't seem like an overly long game, and I played the game for an hour on the Spotlight. I ended up like 27% complete, so it's probably a 3-4 hour game at the most. It'll scratch a Metroidvania itch if you're looking to fire up one of those kind of games. I feel like it would be at home on the Vita too. Like if they were looking at Vita port out, probably would excel on that platform. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed my time with it on the Spotlight for what it was. So if you're at all in the market for that kind of game and you wanna, you're just like, man, I just want to play a Metroidvania game, you could do worse than spend an afternoon with Hunter's Legacy. So that one's out on PS4, Xbox One, and PC. So go ahead and check that one out. We got a video up on the site, of course, www.shortpause.com. You can find it on our YouTube page as well if you want to check out what that game looks like. Now, through the magic of editing, we're going to have a very special guest, in addition to our very special guest, JD. But Brent's going to hop on here for a second. We're going to talk about Resident Evil 7, big game that came out this week. We're going to talk about Resident Evil for a minute. Wanted to get some thoughts from him. He's been playing through the game, so I wanted to get his thoughts on the show here. So let's take it away, Brent. We have our very own Brent Felsing returned to the podcast this evening. First of all, man, how the hell are you?
Tired.
It's been a few weeks.
Yeah, a little tired, a little wore out. I'm starting to feel like I'm 37 years old today.
Yeah, catching up with you now.
Big time, man.
So obviously, man, we congratulations to you again. You welcomed your baby boy into the world, your second one.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Anderson Felsing.
Yep.
How's the little fella doing, man?
You know what? He's doing great. It was actually the whole process, the whole labor process that Melissa went through was considerably easier compared to when Ethan was born. Ethan was a 16-hour marathon. Yeah. Anderson was, hey, we get to the hospital at 7. She's they find out that she's dilated at like a 3 at 9, and he's born at 2:12. So I mean, it was just a bam pregnancy. So it went very, very smooth. Melissa was in great shape afterwards, and it was a breeze compared to Ethan. A breeze.
Yeah. Basically the same exact story with my two sons. First son, really, really long, intensive labor, and it ended up being like 17, 18 hours or whatever. Mm-hmm. My second son, just a really, really smooth, much shorter experience.
Right.
So, yeah. So I don't know if that's just kind of how those things work, if that's like the normal thing, but yeah, I share the same story that you do. So, yeah, good to hear that he's doing good, man. That's awesome. happy to have you able to get away for a second here. Wanted to get you on the show this evening for a brief moment here because we want to talk Resident Evil 7, man.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, this is the big game of the past week. A lot of buzz about this one. A lot of people talking about it. I actually just got my copy today. I was holding out for one of those cool collector's editions.
Oh, you got the house?
And I was able to get my hands on one. So it just got delivered today. So I'm pumped. Pumped to have the house. That thing's cool, man.
Dude, that steel the house is sweet, but that steelbook, oh my god.
Steelbook is nice. I like that logo. That Resident Evil logo is pretty sweet, and it does look good on that steelbook.
Like I said, man, $30 and send that steelbook my way, man. I'll be happy.
I'll think about it.
That's not happening. It's not happening, is it?
Probably not. But yeah, man. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your Resident Evil 7 experience so far? How's the gameplay? How's the story so far? How far are you into it? And just give us the rundown, man.
Well, full disclosure, I enjoyed Resident Evil 5 to a degree. I thought the cooperative elements for that game were really, really good. So I know that's the point where a lot of people thought that the franchise was kind of losing its way. Resident Evil 6, on the other hand, I didn't really get into it, and I don't know if it was because it was so much more action focused. I played a little bit of it, and it was just like, I'm not feeling this. And so I never returned to it. And at that point, I was just like, I don't know if Resident Evil will ever return to its roots. And I can tell you right now, with what I've played of Resident Evil 7, this game has gone back to its roots, regardless if it's been a first-person perspective. This is a Resident Evil game through and through. It's scary. It's atmospheric. It's got a lot of puzzles to solve. There's a lot more exploration, similar to how Resident Evil 1 and 2 were. The focus. There's some gunplay. Obviously, it's first person, but it's not as overwhelming. It's not as focused as in like 6 and 5. But from what I have played so far, I think I'm a little over halfway through. It's been a terrifying experience. It's not a lot of like cheap jump scares. I mean, there's a couple here and there, but it does such a great job with the atmosphere and the sound design of creating that palpable tension. And you're constantly in this. Again, the sound design is fantastic. Whether you're playing through surround sound or using surround sound headphones, you can hear things creeping up behind you. Sometimes there's something there, sometimes there's not. But that's the point of it. It wants you on your toes. It wants to keep you on edge. And that's one way that Resident Evil 7 succeeds very well, is the audio department. But overall, it's been a very, very fun time so far.
So it has that element that seemingly all great horror films or things in the horror genre have, where it's kind of unexpected when things are going to happen. You think something might be around the corner, or the music crescendos to this point, but there's nothing there, and then the next time there is, it's got that kind of element to it.
Yep, just like that.
Awesome. I'm hearing a lot about these like chase scenes in the game too. Why don't you tell us a little bit about those without spoiling anything?
Yeah.
These sound like they're pretty cool.
Yeah, what it is like, as you're making your way through, there's a mansion to explore, there's a greenhouse, there's like a shed out by the water, all these different areas that you can explore. And you've got the Baker family are the main antagonists in this game. There's Jack Baker, Marguerite Baker, and Lucas Baker. And it's the Baker family. And these people are straight out of like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I mean, you got these.
Yeah, that was the vibe I got from them.
These backwoods, mountain people that aren't in touch with society, and you basically are trapped with them in this mansion, in this little land that they own. And what happens is Jack is like just basically like doing his rounds around the house. And if you encounter him, you can either fight him and you can do damage to him. And what'll happen is it won't kill him, but it'll basically knock him out. Like, you'll kill him, but he's able to resurrect later on. So, I mean, you can avoid them. And that's probably the best thing to do because ammunition and herbs and first aids and whatnot are very sparse in this game. So you got to be very frugal with your ammunition. You don't want to go crazy with it. You want to just get into a gunfight every time you see something. You want to try to avoid. You can also outrun a lot of the creatures, or Jack or Marguerite. But so you see them. You got to run around the house. You can hide. You can take cover. If you get out of sight and you duck down behind stuff, you can kind of get out of sight, and they'll lose interest and they'll give up looking for you, and then they'll go on their way. But again, the audio work comes into play here, because if you're sitting in a room and all of a sudden you hear these just footsteps, you're like, I need to hide, or I need to get the hell out of here quick because Jack's outside the door. So It's just it's a constant just reminder that you got to keep your head on a swivel, look behind you all the time, peek through doors, don't just bust through them. You can open doors a little bit, kind of look around, and then back away and close it if you need to, or you can just go right out the door. But you want to be aware of your surroundings for sure.
What about like the narrative, or what do you feel about the story so far? What do you feel about the characters in the game? Is that kind of stuff grabbing you?
Yeah, it's. I wouldn't say this is obviously is an Uncharted type of game, but it's interesting. Like I've gotten to the point now where it's starting to kind of reveal things. You're starting to figure out who these people are and why they are what they are. Ethan is the character you play as. There's not a whole lot to him. He's trying to rescue his wife, Mia. She's been in this house for a long time. She finally contacts you after, she's been figured for dead. So you're out trying to find her. You travel.
That's kind of the whole catalyst for the game, right? He gets this message and he goes out to look for her.
Yep. And so you go out to Louisiana. You find this spot. And you start looking for her. And then, you find out some things about Mia. You find out some things about the Baker family. There's videotapes that you can find along the way that tell a little bit of information. Some of it actually comes in useful later on. But
I love that idea, by the way, because it flashes back during those videotape sequences, right? So you kind of fill in the history, but you get to play those scenes.
You get to play them out. Yep. There's actually some cool trophies that you can earn, or achievements that you can earn while you play through these tapes if you can accomplish certain things in a certain amount of time, or maybe not get caught, or things like that. So there's some cool reasons to go back and play it. And like you pop in the tape if you don't, if you beat the section but you didn't earn the achievement or the trophy didn't pop, you didn't do what you had to do, you can actually go back and just pop the tape back in and run it again. You can run it as many times as you want, because these are located, you can usually watch these in safe houses or safe rooms. These are rooms with like save points where it's actually kind of cool. I'll mention this quick pro tip. If you're being chased by Jack or somebody or a creature and you bust into the safe room, they go away. So you're automatically safe. So keep that in mind. If you're running low on ammo, or if you're running low on health and you don't want to deal with these things, you can actually make a beeline for the safe room, and once you enter it, they disappear. So it's a nice little tip there, because it came in handy early on.
Gotcha. Outside of that stuff, how's the game like technically speaking? Obviously, you said the audio work is exceptional in the game, but how's the game look? Like, how's it feel to play? How are the controls? What do you think about that stuff so far?
First of all, looks wise, it's a beautiful looking game, running at 60 frames, very smooth. I haven't run into any drops, any issues at all in terms of frame rate. The sound
has a pro support as well.
Yeah, I've been playing on the pro, and like I said, rock solid. I haven't ran into any issues with it at all. I actually played on the Xbox One S for our midnight launch party, and the game ran fine there too. No issues whatsoever. Ran good. Cool. The only thing I would say I'd noticed, and I haven't played it on the base PS4 yet to see it, but you can definitely tell a tighter picture on the Pro, a more crisp picture on the Xbox One S, and I'm sure it's probably the same on the PS4. I'll have to check it out to confirm that, but at the very beginning, when you're driving into the location, driving up to the mansion, you can see in the trees, you can see a lot of jaggies, a lot of shimmering. It's not, obviously it's not an issue. It's still a beautiful looking game, but when you play it on the Pro, a lot of that stuff is nice and smooth. You don't see any of the jaggies. It's just a much cleaner picture, a much more crisp image.
Definitely. Awesome. Yeah, I forgot I read what resolution it was on the Pro, but I don't remember what they said on there. Do you remember?
It was something. It was something that I haven't heard yet. I've heard of like these different types of resolutions that are obviously above 1080p, but it was a new one that I haven't heard of yet, or it didn't sound familiar when I heard it. But it is above 1080p, and it is a beautiful looking image, and it's a good looking game overall. I mean, a lot of detail, a lot of good detail on some of especially the characters and some of the creatures that you come in contact with along the way. It's very impressive visually speaking.
Gotcha. Cool. Yeah, so obviously it sounds like an awesome game. There's one thing we haven't talked about that we have to talk about, and that's, of course, VR, Brent.
Yes, VR.
Now, that's been one of the really big curiosities about this particular Resident Evil, is the fact that it's playable front to back in PlayStation VR. So you can put on the headset and experience the entirety of this game. So the first AAA game that you can play start to finish in a VR headset. So I know you've hopped into VR a little bit, man. I want to know about VR in Resident Evil 7. Talk to me, man.
Okay, I'll tell you right now. I've mentioned it before that I have been struggling a little bit with certain games in VR, especially at prolonged sessions. That being said, Resident Evil 7 is the most immersive experience I've played in VR up to date. Okay? This game is fantastic in VR. Fantastic. The immersion, the sense of fear, everything is pushed to a 10. Okay, you pop on the headset with some good headphones and you let that 3D audio kick in. It's a very, very scary experience. It is much different than if you're playing on your big screen, even with surround sound on. When you're in this world that Capcom has created, it is terrifying. Okay, it is terrifying. Everything just looks fantastic in VR too. It looks great. It runs very, very smooth. My only issue, I wouldn't say it was an issue that I have with the game. It's an issue I have dealing with VR is playing in it. I'll have this video up on the site. I actually have the video for it. I recorded it. But making my way through the house. And then you have your first kind of like a mini boss battle with Jack in his garage. And you are constantly running around, moving, dodging, and looking around because it's very chaotic. And I sent you a text after I got done with it. I was a puddle of sweat. Literally a puddle of sweat after I beat it. And that was just because it was just an assault on my senses. But that's just me. If you got PlayStation VR, if you're watching this and you have PlayStation VR and you haven't had any issues with other games, I seriously doubt you'll have an issue with this. You'll probably be fine. If you're considering PlayStation VR, this could go towards any game in VR right now. So this is just me personally. There's going to be people, Ben will probably play it and not have any issues with it whatsoever. There's people out there that if you go on Twitter, if you look up on forums, there are people who love this and they prefer playing this way, and I can't blame them. I totally understand why. Me personally, with the boss battle, it was a little hectic. It was a little bit more than I could handle. But I've been playing for about an hour, so that might have been the issue with it because I just can't play VR very long. But back to Resident Evil 7, this is the reason to own a PlayStation VR right now. I mean, I'll say that right now. From what I played, the things that you see, I witnessed a character getting killed off, and you can see it in the video. If you don't want to watch it, don't. If you want to save it for when you play, that's fine. I don't want to spoil it. But I witnessed a death of a character that was just horrific. And seeing it in VR, it was shocking. I was just like, oh my God. I was like, holy cow. Really? I mean, watching it on the screen and playing it on Xbox One, I saw it later, after I'd streamed, I'd seen it, I was like, wow. But when you see it in VR, my gosh. I mean, you can't put it into words how disturbing it was. And I can only imagine, I've played, much further into the game on a TV instead of VR, and I can think of just multiple things that I was just like, I bet you that's creepy as hell in VR. But I have also encountered quite a few boss battles where I'm just like, unless I want to lose a ton of weight, I probably shouldn't play all these in VR. I should probably just, because I will turn into a swampy mess. But it's an incredible experience in VR. The sound is great. Looking around the house. One thing I do like about VR compared to the gameplay, and it's not a fault of the game, it's just something you got to get used to. Ethan is obviously not a skilled shooter. So it's sort of like, The Last of Us. Joel's not a skilled shooter. It's just like Resident Evil 4. You got to get used to the new shooting. You got to time your shots. You can't just fire away. What's cool about VR is you aim with your head. So when your character has a gun up, you just have to look around, and that's where the crosshair goes. So it's actually a little bit easier to line up headshots with VR because you're just turning your head. You're not worrying about the thumbsticks. You're turning your head, and then you're firing with the R1 trigger or the R2. So that was actually pretty cool. You can use you use your head to aim the crosshairs, and that's actually really cool.
Can you play this game with Move, or is this just a DualShock game?
I understand that this is currently just DualShock, but I thought I remember hearing them saying, and don't quote me on this. I haven't confirmed this, but I thought I remember reading that they were considering Move support. So that I'm not sure of just yet.
Gotcha. Right on, man. So that's actually I want to try and play through the game in VR when I eventually get to sit down and play it here. I've heard some people, like you said, it's just like it's the definitive like PSVR experience right now. In particular, I think it was Patrick Klepek sent out a tweet, was like, this is the way to experience this game is in VR if you can. So I'm really interested to check it out that way. I do want to check it out both ways, but if I can play through this game in VR, I think that'd be a hell of an experience. So that's the way I'm gonna try to do it. We'll see if I can survive. I don't doubt that I'll be sweating as well. I don't handle some of the scary stuff the best, so I'm sure the heart rate will be up
Oh, yeah.
when I'm playing that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really looking forward to playing it, man. To getting in there, I've just heard so many good things about it. Kudos to Capcom for bringing Resident Evil back to prominence with this game. It's reviewed very well. People are saying some great things about it, so I'm excited about this game and about the future of the franchise now to see where they go from here. But just to wrap it up, man, what's your so Resident Evil 7 a recommended game for you? I take it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I haven't beaten it yet, unless the story could turn into a total disaster. But at this point, it's highly recommended. I mean, it's just this feels like the Resident Evil game that we've been asking for a very long time. Okay, this is the Resident Evil game we've been waiting for quite some time. Any fans of the series should definitely check this game out. Yes, it's from a first-person perspective. Yes, there's still shooting to it, but all the other elements that might have been missing from 5 and 6 are back here. The exploration, there's a lot more downtime to walk around and explore, find collectibles. There's videotapes to check out. There's a lot of journals that you can read that kind of give you a little insight to what's going on, or maybe at least a hint to what's going on. It's a terrifying experience. Above all, it's a terrifying game. There's a lot of scares. There's a lot of tension. The Bakers are very, very disturbing people, and they make the perfect antagonists. And even though I haven't played a lot in VR, I do plan on playing this game in VR. But for the purpose of getting through the game, I want to play it regular. I mean, I did a little bit of VR just to experience it. I was a sweaty mess, obviously, but at the same time, I do want to go back and play through this game through VR simply because of how much or how well Capcom handled the audio and the visuals and creating a very disturbing atmosphere. So yeah, I will definitely check this out in VR. But even if you don't have VR and you like horror games and you're a fan of Resident Evil, your ship has arrived.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing. I mean, it sounds weird to say that about this grisly, disturbing game, but I'm looking forward to hopping into it and being able to play this game and experience it, man. So good to hear that you're enjoying it. Sounds like you'll have that finished up pretty soon, so it's exciting stuff. So, Brent, I want to thank you for making a little cameo here. Appreciate the assist on this one. Appreciate you coming in and giving us your thoughts on Resident Evil. You'll be back on the show pretty soon.
Absolutely, I'm hoping. If not next weekend, I'm hoping the following for sure. I mean, absolutely the 11th. So I will try to make it for the 4th. If not, the 11th, I'll be back. But you guys have been doing a great job. I miss you guys very much, and I'm glad I got to hop on here for me to talk some video games with you guys.
Yeah, man, for sure. So thank you for your time. We're looking forward to having you back on the show full time pretty soon here. So don't fret, viewers and listeners. Brent will be back shortly. But until next time, thank you again, my friend, and let's return back to our regularly scheduled podcast now.
See you guys.
And we're back. All right. So that was Brent's thoughts on Resident Evil 7. It's a game I'm looking forward to getting into and playing myself. My copy arrived the other day, so I'm looking forward to finally being able to fire it up. JD, you get into Resident Evil yet, man? Do you enjoy Resident Evil at all?
I do. I've played all of them. I liked them all too. Obviously, some more than others. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna play this game. Probably sooner rather than later. Maybe sometime in the summer. For now, I'm gonna skip on it just because I don't know. I gotta be in a specific mood for Resident Evil games or horror games in general. Kind of like that. I've talked about Dying Light before. That game, I was in the mood for it and it hit the spot, and I think Resident Evil 7 will do the same thing. But I've heard pretty much only good things about it, so there's no doubt I'm going to be playing it at some point.
Yeah, for sure. Frankie, where you at in Resident Evil 7 now?
So I was not going to buy this game right away. New Year's resolution and all. Just installed my copy earlier, so I'm thinking Jen goes back to work Wednesday night, so I'll probably fire it up Wednesday night when I get home from work. So I'm gonna try to get in there later this week, play through that, and then segue into The Witcher from there. So I'm excited, man. I caught some Brent stream, and dude, that game looks. That's what sold me. I caught like the last 10 minutes of his stream, and I was like, holy crap, I need to play this like right now. So yeah, it's the second that stream is over, my order was placed and ready to go.
Yeah, I was sold on the game from the demo. I was like, this game's pretty cool. So I knew I was getting it, and I mentioned when I was talking with Brent about it that I want to play through the game in VR. That's my goal. Is play through it front to back in VR. It sounds like that's a pretty crazy experience. So if I can handle it, if my body can handle it, if I don't pass out and die, then I'm gonna see if I can make it through.
That sounds crazy, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we'll see how that goes in the coming weeks ahead. But enough about what came out last week. Franklin, we want to know what's coming out this week. Would you take us through the new releases, bud?
All right, we'll do. Well, as usual, we're going to start with the PlayStation side of things. So, starting us off here, Hitman, the complete first season. Of course, this is coming to retail. Digital, you can already buy the season pass for your platform of choice. Of course, the retail edition of this game comes with the fancy steelbooks and behind-the-scenes stuff, soundtrack, all kinds of goodies. But coming alongside that, you're going to be getting a third bonus mission called Landslide. I believe this takes place in Sapienza. So that'll be available on Tuesday, as well as another difficulty, professional mode, which you actually need to hit level 20, like your mastery level 20. So as you're playing through each chapter, there's different ways you kill people, different things you can interact with to, kind of gain XP and level up. Basically, completing your challenges is going to get you to level 20. Getting there unlocks this difficulty per is it mission, chapter, episode? Yeah. So coming along with this mode, of course, you're going to have more like an advanced AI pattern, more aggressive security, that being like the cameras, I believe. So you got to watch out for that, I know some of the elusive targets, too. Like, there's not elusive targets, the escalations. Like, once you get like into those 4 and 5 tiers, like, you get spotted by a security camera and you have like a minute to rush down to the camera room and destroy the footage. The other thing to note is with these like with this new difficulty, this is just for the actual episodes themselves. So escalation contracts and the elusive targets are going to be normal difficulty now. And speaking of elusive targets, target number 19 is available now. I think they're there until Thursday or Friday. I don't remember the actual date, but JD, you're interested in Hitman. Did you end up picking this up yet, or you waiting for this?
So I'm very, very interested in it. I loved Absolution. I really had a lot of fun with that game. Played the hell out of it. So I'm like you, man. I got a thing about physical games. I just, not to get into it, but I have a bunch of different reasons why. But so I grabbed it just to see what it was like. I played the first 3 episodes or levels, however you want to call it, and a bunch of the content that comes with it, and it's great. So I will absolutely be getting this the day it comes out.
Ben, did you ever hop into Hitman?
Very briefly. I totally missed the boat on this game, and I feel bad about that because from what I played, it's really cool. So it's a lot of fun, and seems like something I would really like. I'm not the greatest stealth player. No, we've talked about that before, Franklin, from your end of things. But I'm kind of in the same boat as you, man. I'm not the greatest when it comes to sneaking around and kind of plotting stuff out. See what gets me is that I'll like come up with this great plan, and then I'll try to implement it, and then I'll mess up something. It'll throw the whole mission off, and then I get pissed, and I don't want to go back and do it again. I'm just like, man, I had everything all planned out, and I was very meticulous about the way I was moving around here, and then I just did something wrong, and it messed up the whole thing, and I'm like, I don't want to go do this again. So I get impatient with stealth stuff sometimes, but yeah, Hitman's really cool. I've wanted to get in there and see how the story goes. I know I always thought the idea of a season of a video game was really interesting, and it seemed like they were going to try and play this out almost as like a TV show. So I was curious to get in there and kind of see how the storyline plays out and how it kind of sets up any subsequent seasons that we might see from this. So yeah, I definitely need to check out Hitman. I have the full digital version. I just have to get around to playing it at some point. My question for you, Frankie, though, is with this disc version, do we get a platinum? Do we get a platinum trophy with this game now? That's the big question for me.
That's where I'm at too. That's why I'm picking it up mostly. I'm hoping that this a lot like The Witcher and some of these other games, the disc version has a platinum. So we will find out Tuesday. So I do have my copy arriving because I'm sticking to that New Year's resolution so well.
Yeah, how's that been going for you?
That's great.
It doesn't count. It's from last year, that game, man.
It doesn't help. I already bought the game last year twice. So I bought it digitally. I bought it on Xbox, gave that code to Moody, and then I actually bought it on Xbox again during the holiday sale. So I've already bought that game 3 times.
Oof.
More power
I
to you,
disappoint myself.
I thought it was funny too that I saw that message about a Resident Evil like Lightning deal earlier. It's like 4 days after the game came out. I thought you'd get a kick out of that. So
They ended up pulling it actually.
yeah, I saw that. So I guess
Yeah,
it all
you
worked
better.
out.
Was mad.
They felt you staring at them across the country with slanted eyes.
Yep. I better have.
And a curved brow. Yeah.
I hovered over the cancellation on Hitman because I was like, oh, watch, this will be Lightning Deal next week. I'll just wait. And correct me if I'm wrong, but is this game's getting HDR support? Is that coming with this update as well?
I believe it's already there. I think it's already
nice.
been updated for the Pro and for HDR support.
Nice. I didn't install that one yet, so I'm just gonna pop the disc in when it shows up, and we'll check on that platinum status.
I know the Pro support is there. I'm not sure if the HDR was a separate thing or not. If it is, I think it's part of this winter update. It's coming out Tuesday anyway, so regardless, you should have that once this complete first season arrives.
Moving along here, Digimon World New Order. I don't believe this is anything to do with Cyber Sleuth from last year. This is an entirely different Digimon storyverse. So
I think so.
If you're into the Digimon games, check that one out on Tuesday. Divide. This game looks right up your alley, boys. It's got kind of like a top-down, almost like a kind of has like a Housemarque vibe to me.
It's like a sci-fi thriller kind of game. It's it kind of harkens back to the isometric adventure games of old. And this is actually the game we'll be firing up on the Indie Spotlight this week, Frankie. So Thursday night, 10 p.m. Eastern on our Twitch channel. Short pause live on there. We'll fire up Divide, play it for a little while, see what it's all about. But I think this game looks really cool, man. Seems like it's got this really intriguing, science fiction storyline. There's stealth elements to this game. It almost looks a little Stealth Inc. in some of it as well. Some of the ways that it plays out. But it's got stealth elements. It's got combat elements. It's got some of the some of the twin stick elements that it appears to have in the combat that we see in something like Dead Nation or something from Housemarque. Obviously not at that level in terms of the bombast that we see in those games. But it looks like it's got a lot of really cool elements in it. I'm actually really looking forward to playing it, man. There's a couple trailers out for it. I've liked what I've seen of both of them, so I'm really pumped to fire that up this week. Actually, I think it's gonna be a fun game.
Awesome. Yeah, I watched the trailer and I'm looking forward to firing that one up too.
Mm-hmm.
Move down here. Double Dragon 4. This is a Monday release. This is a sequel, actually, to Double Dragon 3. So I guess this is also the 30th anniversary of Double Dragon.
Yeah. Yeah. This looks exactly like the NES Double Dragon. So, dude, I loved Double Dragon, man. I used to play the hell out of that game on the NES. I remember renting Double Dragon 3 from whatever the local video rental store was at the time. I remember when I popped that game and I was like, man, the graphics are so good in this game. It's like it was at such another level from Double Dragon and Double Dragon 2. It was like kind of a later NES title, so we started to see things like the later Mega Man entries like Mega Man 5 and 6, Turtles 3, the Manhattan Project, I think that's what it was called. But that game, like Double Dragon 3, these games really started to look good, and I thought Double Dragon 3 looked awesome. So, how far we've come.
Nice. JD, you have any interest in Double Dragon?
Yeah, man. Yeah, it looks like it'll be fun. I don't know if I'll be rushing to grab it right away, but I would definitely play that, whenever I get a chance to. I love all those old school love letter games like that just kind of pay tribute to the great heritage of those games or similar games. So yeah, I'll definitely get around to playing that.
Cool. Yeah, I think I actually fired up the Arcade Archives Double Dragon. So that was not fairly recent, but in a couple of years. So
never actually played the arcade version. Does it differ from the NES version at all?
A little bit.
A little
I
bit.
think the NES version definitely feels a lot smoother to play. Easy trophies,
Yeah. Arcade archives, man. They're good for that.
So moving on here, we got Kill the Bad Guy. This game looks weird. This is kind of like a black and white. You have these bad guys roaming around town, and you're kind of setting up death traps to kill them. So you like can drop pianos on them. You can cause like explosions, all kinds of stuff. So that one looks kind of interesting.
Actually, I actually kind of like the way this game looks.
Yeah. The first time I watched a trailer for it, I was kind of like, all right.
Interesting premise, very very cool, like minimalist art style in it. And yeah, if Divide wasn't coming out this week, I probably would have played this on the Spotlight.
It's probably a good time. I'm probably gonna pick this up as well.
I think it's only like $6, dude, $6.99, something like that.
Yeah, that's pretty cheap. Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm 4. Road to Boruto. This is a Friday release. I believe this is the Game of the Year edition for Ultimate Ninja Storm 4. So it has all the DLC from the season pass and whatnot. Did you ever get into that game?
I'm trying to remember what Naruto I have. I think it's the one on Xbox 360. I forgot what that one was called, but that like these games are actually pretty cool. Like they look like the cartoon. They play pretty well, but I haven't really sat down to try and get into them. But I know they've got like a cult following, you know.
JD, ever get into any of the Naruto games?
No, I haven't, but I always see them, like multiple versions of them everywhere. It's probably something I should check out because it seems to be, if they keep making games and the show is still around, it's gotta be pretty good, you would think.
Yeah, I know they sell pretty well. So, Dynasty Warriors, God Seekers. So, if you're into Dynasty Warriors, you get another one of those.
This one is actually a turn-based tactical strategy game, so do not buy this game thinking you're going to beat the hell out of large hordes of people. You're going to be sorely disappointed.
I mean, they're changing up the... They can't do that.
They've got like these tactical spin-offs that happen every now and then. I mean, there's so many of these games. I mean, it's hard to keep up with any of them, but
Yeah.
this is actually one of the turn-based strategy takes on the series.
Your Hand of Fate, the Deluxe Edition. And so you get your card battling game. Limelight. This is like one of those minimalist, you're just basically navigating this little light ball through different puzzles. It actually looks kind of cool.
I agree.
Knee Deep. So my understanding is this is actually an episodic, like a suspense noir game. You're basically investigating like the suicide of like this washed up Hollywood talent. So I assume all 3 episodes are releasing together on consoles. So looks interesting.
Yeah,
I watched swanky style.
Yeah, I watched the trailer for it. I thought I was gonna see something more somber, but this was more like it looked almost goofy and upbeat. So I don't know what the vibe of this game is gonna be.
Yeah. JD, any interest in D Deep?
I don't want to say no, just because similar thing to what I was saying before. It's something I'll grab, I would definitely grab down the road when I'm, in the mood for that kind of thing. But certainly doesn't look bad by any means.
Rolling around here, we got Adventure Pop, the latest super explosive bubble shooter. I'm sure Bender's excited about that one.
Oh yeah, he's a super explosive bubble shooter fanatic, so he'll be jumping through hoops.
Abzu getting a retail release this week, courtesy of 505 Games. That's awesome. If you haven't played Abzu, I highly recommend checking that out. Dext. This is a PlayStation VR title from the fine people at Ninja Theory. This is like an on-rails VR shooter. You kind of have like these fire and ice abilities, powers, bullets. It's kind of inspired by Panzer Dragoon. Boyce, did you take a look at the trailer for this?
Yeah, this one basically just came out of nowhere. I saw Ninja Theory and I was like, wait a minute, why haven't I heard of this game? And then to find out that it's coming out this Tuesday, and then I watched the trailer for it. It looks like it could be fun. It obviously takes advantage of the Move controller, so it looks to be pretty immersive from that respect. I don't know if you're like a wizard or what exactly you are, but yeah, you have the ability to shoot fire and ice out of your different hands, and fire enemies can only be affected by ice, and ice enemies can only be affected by fire. So you've got to kind of use the right bullets when you're attacking them. I don't know, it looks like it could be fun.
Yeah, I like that. There's like an octopus monster or something. You're underneath, and it's got the different things. It's like, dude, this looks like it's gonna get pretty chaotic.
Yeah.
Looks like a very rhythmic type of game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Looks
it does.
enjoyable.
It does have that element to it as well.
probably pick that up. I love Ninja Theory.
Yeah, they make some
And,
good stuff.
Rounding out the retail releases this week, limited run games, of course. On Friday, we'll be doing The Swapper and Curses and Chaos, which is the latest game from Tribute Games. They have Mercenary Kings fame.
Great game.
So it's...
Mercenary Kings is such a good game.
Did you get the platinum in that?
Hell no.
Okay.
That's a hard one to get.
I have a friend. I thought it was you, but I have a friend who did it. And
Oh, really? Man.
he is pissed. Getting to that platinum trophy was a pain in the ass.
That's man. It takes a lot to get that platinum. So kudos to him, man.
Yeah. Ugh, I don't know.
That's an awesome game though. Really like that game.
Yeah. But 2,800 copies of Curses and Chaos, 3,300 for the Swapper. That's PS4 and Vita for both. So that'll round out the retail releases. On the DLC front this week, Zen Pinball. Is it Zen Pinball 2 on the PS4?
Yeah.
Zen Pinball, yeah. They'll be getting the Star Wars Pinball Rogue One table DLC this week. If you guys haven't checked out this table, it looks really sweet. Trying the video version of the podcast, we can show you a picture of it. So, dude, they do such a great job with those Star Wars tables. I'm really excited to get this one.
Yeah. The Zen Pinball is just a sweet game, dude.
I like the part where I beat Brent's Fallout 4 table score. It was great fun. JD, you ever get into the pinball games?
I haven't, man. I should because I enjoy playing them. I just, one of those things I just never get around to getting into.
Gotcha. Rolling on here, the Call of Duty Infinite Warfare Sabotage DLC is coming this week as well. So you got your new map packs, new zombie maps, which Kevin Smith apparently is featured in. So
Awesome.
it's great.
Yeah.
Silent Bob action in there.
Yeah, man.
The Resident Evil 7 Banned Footage Volume 1 DLC apparently coming out this week as well. That has the 4 or 5 mini episodes in it, I believe. I think that's what those are. I'm not totally sure, but
Yeah, they're basically like, I guess, yeah, like you said, like mini episodes that you can play within the game, and they look pretty cool, man.
yeah.
So
I was actually surprised. Like the DLC for this game looks like pretty substantial.
yeah, and it's like coming out quick. Like this comes out a week after the game, then the next part of it is in 2 weeks, on February 14th. So they just cranked this out quickly.
Maybe I'll use that as an excuse to hold off on starting it so that I have all the DLC and then I'll play it all.
There you go.
So rounding out the DLC front this week, Battleborn will be dropping the 4th of the 5 planned story op DLCs. This one is Montana and the Demon Bear. Like we were talking about, the Oscar Mike versus the school one just dropped 2 weeks ago. So they have this one, and I believe the last one focuses on Phoebe. I want to say it's Phoebe, but so they're nearing the end of the season pass content for that game, which kind of makes me sad because I'm worried that's just gonna kind of. All right, great. Borderlands 3's coming. JD, you just picked up Battleborn. Have you hopped in there yet?
I have, man. I played through. I probably put in like 3 or 4 hours of it so far. I dig it. It's good.
You have any characters that you're digging so far?
I always forget the guy's name. Who's the guy that looks like the Guardian from Halo? Caladarius?
Caldarius?
Yeah.
Caldarius. I like him and the generic soldier guy.
Oscar Mike.
Oscar Mike. Yeah, just because I'm used to playing with that style of shooter, but so far it's fun. There's so many heroes I gotta choose, so I gotta get used to them all to see which one I prefer.
Oh, yeah, that's Boyce's guy, Oscar Mike. The PS3 side of things, we just have the Star Wars Rogue One table coming out this week. On the Vita, Dynasty Warriors Godseekers, which, as Boyce astutely pointed out, not exactly your typical Dynasty Warriors game, so
Yeah.
your tactical turn-based one, go for it. It's Geki Yaba Runner. What?
It's some type of a phone game making its way over to the Vita. It's basically an endless runner.
That's what it
You
looks
you
like.
appear to play as some type of a gnome, running through levels. So
David the Gnome.
yeah, David the Gnome,
David the Gnome.
the long-awaited David the Gnome Vita game is upon us.
I heard it was like a Dark Souls type of game. David the Gnome.
It's Dark
Yeah.
Souls Runner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Dark Souls of gnome runners.
Wonderful. Rounding out our video releases this week, of course, the Star Wars Pinball Rogue One table coming there as well. And again, Limited Run, Swapper, and Curses and Chaos, Friday. 10 a.m. Eastern or 6 p.m. Eastern if you miss the morning batch. So that's it for the PlayStation side of things. Let's hop into Xbox. This week, we have Wells. This is a Monday release. This game actually looks kind of cool. It's like a 3D, it's a run and gun type of shooter.
The Gunstar Heroes or something like that.
Yeah. So stylistically, it looks really nice. So again, that's a Monday release. Hitman, Kill the Bad Guy, Knee Deep, also Xbox releases this week alongside Naruto Shippuden, Ultimate Ninja Storm, Road to Burrito.
Road
Burrito.
Road to Burrito.
Road to Burrito.
Road to Naruto. Come on, man.
And of course, Abzu and Star Wars Pinball hitting as well. On the other side of the Xbox coin, though, we have some other Xbox-only releases this week. How about this game, Candleman? This is like a 2D. I want to say it's a platformer, but you play as a candle. So
Looks cool, actually.
It does. It's very visually appealing. So you're kind of navigating your way around this dark world, of course, as a candle, trying to seek the light. So
You can light your candle for 10 seconds at a time. That's like the big gameplay mechanic here. So it kind of builds itself around the idea that you can only have light for a limited period of time, and the light also melts your candle, and you become more agile and things like that as your wax dwindles. So it's a very very interesting sounding game.
Well, on here we have Aqua Kitty Milk Mine Defender. This is the ultimate director's cut version of the game. That's a Friday release. That's of course, I think it was last week's limited run releases on the PS4 and Vita. So if you're into shoot 'em ups, check that one out. Pixel Heroes Bite and Magic. This is another Friday release. It's like a strategy game of sorts.
Something, yeah. I can't figure out if it's a parody of Might and Magic or if it's just an homage. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's tough to tell.
Very old school look to it.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that'll do it for our Xbox releases this week. Hopping over to Nintendo, what did we miss last week? Little Ninja Brothers this is an NES Virtual Console game, which I've never heard of this game. As well as Kung Fu Heroes and Flying Warriors, also NES Virtual Console games. $5, never heard of them. As far as what's coming to the system this week, tune into the show next week. Over on the 3DS side of things, Word Search 10K, an $8, get you a bunch of word searches, I guess.
An $8 word search game. That's
Hey, you know?
I imagine that one's gonna fly off the eShop shelves.
Probably does, man. It's so weird. It probably does.
Yeah,
Maybe
people
so.
People
People
their
got
word
some
searches.
weird. Yeah, people are weird about those kind of games, man.
Scratch
Like,
that
what's
word
that-
search itch.
what-
Yeah,
What's that?
Someone's gotta do
What's that game everyone loves? Picross.
yeah,
Mhm.
Picross. Yep.
People love that.
Yeah, I don't doubt this probably does well. Candy Please. This is a $1.99 eShop game. Tread with caution.
Yep.
Oh, man.
As far as new releases for this week, we have Poochie and Yoshi's Woolly World. Is this a brand new game, or is this like a DLC type of thing for Yoshi's Woolly World?
I think it's a brand new game.
Wonderful. There's an amiibo bundle for this as well.
Poochie wasn't in the other one, was he?
I don't think so.
It's like a standalone thing, but it's like part of. I guess you would call it a DLC, right? Kind of like Blood and Wine would be for The Witcher, something like that.
I see. Okay.
I think. I could be wrong.
Hey, well, for new amiibos, there's now a Poochie bundle as well. So everyone who wanted that Poochie amiibo, you're set.
$50. There you go. You can have
Woof.
What?
Let's see what else we got here. Life Speed. This is a Thursday release for $5.99, and Legna Takita. Another Thursday release for $10.
Tactica.
Tactica.
I think it's a tactics RPG game. One of those kind of things.
Ben, that'll do it for new releases.
Thank you, Franklin, for taking us through that. Appreciate it. So with that, let's hop into the news, fellas, and we're gonna start the news segment, with what is clearly the biggest news of the week, at least in my opinion. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. but this was an announcement I was super jazzed about. Square and Marvel have announced a multi-game partnership beginning with the Avengers project. Now, when this news came out, let's take you back to the day before. So, some astute Twitter people had put together the fact that both Marvel and Square were tweeting out that they had a big announcement planned for the following day. So people were starting to put two and two together. So then I started to get excited. I was like, oh man, is this really going to happen? Like, are they going to team up with Square and make some games? And lo and behold, when whatever it was, 9, 10 o'clock rolled around, we got the official announcement that Square and Marvel were teaming up to make some Marvel games. So I'm going to pull up the press release here. We're going to go through this, see exactly what they had to say. The press release is as follows. Marvel Entertainment and Square Enix today announced a new multi-year, multi-game licensing agreement to develop and publish original games based on beloved Marvel superheroes, beginning with the Avengers. This newly established partnership pairs the creative minds at Marvel and Square Enix for one of the most powerful alliances in interactive entertainment. The first blockbuster game is being crafted by none other than Crystal Dynamics, developers of the award-winning Tomb Raider series, in collaboration with Eidos Montreal, home of the critically acclaimed and award-winning Deus Ex game series. The Avengers project is being designed for gamers worldwide and will be packed with all the characters, environments, and iconic moments that have thrilled longtime fans of the franchise. Featuring a completely original story, it will introduce a universe gamers can play in for years to come. More details on the Avengers project and other games will be announced in 2018. We have a statement here. Quote, by partnering with Crystal Dynamics and Eidos Montreal, we are now working with two of the industry's most talented and respected game development studios to bring Marvel stories to life in ways our fans have never experienced. This is according to Jay Ong, Senior Vice President, Games and Innovation, Marvel Entertainment. Jay goes on, the Avengers project is a perfect example of how Marvel is making games a key part of the landscape for Marvel storytelling alongside comics, television, and film. We can only do this by matching our greatest superheroes with the world's top developers, such as the creative minds at Square Enix. End quote. We have another quote. This is from Phil Rogers, CEO of Square Enix America and Europe. Marvel's diverse, innovative universe has created millions of longtime fans. One of them's right here, including all of us. It's exciting to bring together Square Enix's award-winning development studios with Marvel's extraordinary storytellers to establish a new entertainment powerhouse. This collaboration of passion and talent will craft epic, imaginative experiences, allowing gamers to live out their superhero dreams like never before. End quote. So, fellas, a lot to digest here. Also, alongside this, they released a little teaser trailer for the Avengers project, which was very interesting. It hashtag reassemble was the mantra. It appeared to be narrated possibly by Black Widow. But we saw, Captain America's shield. We saw Iron Man's blasters, Thor's hammer, Bruce Banner's glasses. So we at least had allusions to 4 of the, big time members of the Avengers. And we don't know what the story is going to be about, but we can kind of try and guess that maybe something's happened and the Avengers are going to have to reassemble. But we don't know. We'll find out more in 2018. For now, we can all geek out and do like crazy fan stuff because Marvel and Square are working together now. So before I go too far off the deep end, Frankie, why don't you hop in here and tell us what you thought about this, man?
So my first thought was, we heard a couple months ago that Crystal Dynamics was not heading up the next Tomb Raider game.
Bingo.
A lot of us are really worried about that.
Mm-hmm.
The second I saw Crystal Dynamics, I literally was like, yes! Like I enjoy those Tomb Raider games. Crystal Dynamics is a fantastic developer, so hearing that they're getting a chance to take a swing at making an Avengers game, dude, I cannot wait to see what that thing turns out to be. I just it's like finally seeing Marvel kind of take the initiative to go to these different, you got Sony, you got Square Enix, like they're going to game makers who are going to make quality and excellent games, I feel. So even, you got Crystal and then you have Eidos Montreal. Deus Ex is a fantastic game, and knowing what they could do with like an RPG and them doing something in the Marvel Avengers universe with something like that, dude, these games are going to be awesome. I couldn't think of two better teams for Square to put on, Avengers projects. So as an advocate of superhero games, and for the longest time wanting to see Marvel's games kind of catch up to what the Batman games have been. Dude, I'm so excited. Like, now is the best time to be like into not only video games, but if you're a fan like we are of the comic stuff, dude, this is gonna be a great time. Cannot wait to hear more about these.
Dude, this was like bringing a tear to my eye, man. I mean, this is like to see Crystal being able to get their hands on Marvel's Avengers and do an action adventure title like based in that universe. That's super super exciting. I mean, the only thing that I like more than video games is comic books. So to see these things merge together and to see the development talent like Square, like taking their very best studios, putting them behind this Marvel game, it's got me just got me super juiced for this. Let's talk about this for a second, Frankie. You mentioned here Marvel's new initiative with their games, and we talked about this on the podcast, several months back. But we talked about Marvel's idea that they wanted to kind of really take their game making seriously. We've seen them kind of move away from the sloppy, not sloppy, but just kind of like the half-ass ports that we saw from like Activision or the licensing tie-ins that we saw from them over the years, and like they're really getting serious about their game making now. So now we're not only Square with their deal with Marvel, and this is a multi-game deal, by the way. This is not just an Avengers deal. So they've got this. We know that Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite coming back from Capcom. We know Telltale's making a Guardians of the Galaxy name. We know Insomniac is behind an exclusive Spider-Man game. So, and not to mention the Lego games, which feature Marvel, are very, very good games. So their properties are being treated very well at this point in time from what we, at least from a talent perspective. So I really hope that what comes out of this is something exciting. JD, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think you're the biggest fan of superheroes. I think I remember you talking about this on your show. But so I don't know what this announcement does for you, but what do you think, man, about Square teaming up with Marvel?
Yeah, man. When I say that, I mean in like reference to other things I'm like a fan of. I still, like I love Spider-Man. Like Spider-Man's one of my favorites. It's cool, man. Square and any of their developers or anything related to Square and Marvel, and then the joining of forces to create something that's, regardless of how you feel about comics, whether you like them or not, that's pretty big deal. The only thing disappointing to me is I guess that Crystal Dynamics won't be making a Legacy of Kain reboot anytime soon. So, but no, man, that's cool. That's definitely cool. I'm excited to see what they can do. The Guardians of the Galaxy, what was that? They're doing a Telltale
yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, that movie, I didn't, have any high hopes for it, and when I watched it, because like I don't, I have some comics, I don't go crazy with them, but the movie, when I saw it, because that's my introduction to that, I was laughing my ass off the whole time. So I can't wait to see. Yeah, it's so funny. What's that scene at the end where the guy's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, it's a distraction, you turd blossom. Like that. It's just the humor, the humor in Guardians of the Galaxy is great. So, in general, anything Marvel, I do kind of prefer them over DC, and if I was to have a favorite comic book house or however you would describe them, and yeah, man, it's cool news, and I'm excited for you hardcore comic fans, especially. That's good news.
Yeah, dude, I'm so jazzed about this. Marvel's always been my first love as well. I love DC. I love Batman. I love Superman. I love Flash. Love Green Lantern. Love a lot of the guys over there. But when I was growing up, Marvel was my first love, and Spider-Man's my favorite. Love Daredevil. Love Captain America. Love the Avengers. X-Men, probably my favorite comic book property out of all of them. But to see them like taking their video game slate seriously and seeing what happened with the Batman Arkham series and seeing what's possible with superhero games now, it's really got me excited about where this project's going to take them from here. I wanna ask you guys a little bit about this trailer too. Frankie, what'd you think about what you saw out of the trailer, man? Is anything you can glean from this outside of just the fact that we talked about some of the Avengers that were referenced in here and the reassemble tagline? You got any thoughts on what that might mean or what you saw here?
Looks pretty grim. Especially you go around. You have Captain America's shield just laying in the rubble. Iron Man's arms there, but just kind of flickering. So something bad, something really bad has happened, obviously. So
Yeah.
It seems like they're not going to hesitate to go dark with these if they feel they need to, which is one of the great things I enjoyed about the Batman games. I felt they understood the line to walk where it was a dark game, but it wasn't dark to the point where it was bad. So I hope that that's the tone we're going to get with these games. And especially with Crystal Dynamics behind it, especially with what they done with Tomb Raider, that's the kind of tone that they work best with. So I think we're in for a treat.
Yeah, the Avengers has a very adventurous sense about them too. If you look towards the first two Avengers films, that's the kind of vibe I would want to see in this game. Is not afraid to bring a little bit of levity to it, have that really like adventurous spirit about it. It can have dark elements as long as it doesn't get too grim, like you said. So, yeah, we're really excited to see what Crystal does with this property, man. JD, any thoughts on what you saw in the trailer, man? Any idea about what they might be alluding to, or what kind of vibe did you get from it?
Definitely has some kind of a dark twist going on there. Like Frankie was saying, with the shield on the ground and the fried looking electronics on Iron Man's arm.
Yeah.
I kind of prefer that kind of dark twist to things, and yeah, I don't know. I doubt that it's going to be anything too brutal, like everybody's dead and they have to make a new kind of like I think it will be good regardless of what they do, and even if it is a little bit darker. So.
Yeah. What I don't want to see happen is them to take like the DC movie route and just go way down a dark rabbit hole that they don't need to go down. Like DC tries to shoehorn everybody into Batman's world and Batman's aesthetic, at least from a movie perspective. That's one of the things I've enjoyed about the Marvel films is they've stuck to the spirit of the property that they've been adapting. So hopefully they'll do that here with the game and not just try and make the Avengers a Batman game. So hopefully that won't happen.
So you're not a fan of Batman vs Superman? Is that
not a fan?
Oh,
Yeah,
shocking.
We don't want to open up that can of worms on the show. We've only got a limited amount of time here, so I've made my peace on how I feel about that movie. But a couple more interesting things I wanna touch on here is the fact that it sounds like they're going to be creating an entirely new video game universe, kind of based on this game. Is what it sounds like. What was the quote? It will introduce a universe gamers can play in for years to come. So whether that means they're going to take like the cinematic route where they've kind of created this whole entire movie universe, which I love. So they have their comic book universe and all of those things are interconnected. Their movie universe, same thing. All of those properties are interconnected. Now, if they are able to, through this partnership with Square, create a connected gaming universe, I think that's really awesome. So I'm really curious to see what comes of that. And then the other side of the coin is this is not the end of this deal. This is a multi-game partnership, and this is only the first one. So I was starting to think about like what studios Square has and what other games they can make. One that jumped to the front of my mind was what if IO came and made like a Black Widow or a Shield game, like based around like espionage and that kind of stuff. I could see that being like a really, really cool game. Maybe if they don't get around to Hitman Season 2, maybe they hop into a project like that for Marvel. You got any ideas, Frankie, about what some of their other studios might make or what you'd like to see from them?
Not really. Just like I said, like the whole Crystal Dynamics thing was the big grabbing thing for me. That's probably my favorite Square-owned studio. The only thing I think would kind of be cool to come of this is this is lame probably, but a decent Go game that their Square Enix Montreal handles those, the Hitman Go, and
I think so.
those have been awesome. I don't care what anyone says about phone games. I myself don't really dabble in them too much, but those they do a great job with those properties. So I would like to see them kind of get in there and get their hands dirty making some kind of Avengers Go game.
I dig it, man. Something else I was thinking of, JD. Imagine if they took one of these properties, like X-Men, for instance, which is one of my favorites. It made like this sprawling open world, like Final Fantasy 15 kind of game with a with a Marvel property, and put some RPG elements in there. Did kind of the real time combat that we saw in that game. Something like that, I think would be really cool as well.
Yeah, man, take my money for that.
You
Gladly.
you think they'd do something maybe kind of like Kingdom Hearts, where you kind of bring maybe like Adam Jensen and maybe some Square characters into the Marvel universe as some kind of like spin-off like Kingdom Hearts? That'd be kind of cool.
I could see Jensen in there for sure. He'd fit as a superhero kind of guy.
Oh
Yeah, you'd see him rubbing shoulders with Tony Stark.
Oh yeah, totally.
Am I hearing this wrong, or does the way they're describing this kind of sound like an MMO kind of like universe, like game? Maybe not. I don't know. I just thought MMO when they were talking about that, like an existing world.
It could be taken that way as well. That's actually a good point. I was thinking that as well when I was thinking about this before the show. But you could take that as when they say introduce a universe gamers can play in for years to come, as they're going to create their own video game universe, kind of like I was referencing, where they have multiple games that are in this same cohesive universe. Or it could be that side of the coin. It could be an MMO game where it's just something that an Avengers game that we can continuously play for the next 3 or 4 years or whatever. So be interesting to see how it all comes out.
Yeah.
The other side of the coin, so obviously Crystal's not going to be working on Shadow of the Tomb Raider now. So that leaves who's the developer that's working on this now? It's Eidos. Who? Dude, I feel like it was Montreal that was working on this. On this Shadow of the Tomb Raider game.
Maybe they have like a
Eidos Montreal to develop Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Yeah, and from what and that's gonna make sense, because from what I understand about their relationship with Crystal, it's going to be similar. I believe they assisted on Rise of the Tomb Raider as well, in a similar way, where they kind of helped them. It was primarily developed by Crystal, but they kind of helped them finish off the game. So I would assume we'll see maybe a similar thing here.
Mm-hmm.
They've been working together for a long time, right? Eidos and Crystal Dynamics. Because I remember I was kind of joking about Legacy of Kain before, but their little splash screen, I remember, had both them, Crystal Dynamics and Eidos, on it. So they should know each other pretty well.
Yeah, no. Eidos used to be a separate thing, right? They used to be a separate publisher.
Yeah.
Before
I think
they
all three of them
folded back into Square.
Yeah, because Enix was a separate thing too, wasn't it? It wasn't always.
Yep. No, yeah,
it was
Squaresoft.
Originally, right?
Yeah.
Yep, Squaresoft, and then when they merged, they became the largest like RPG factory, ever. So, yeah. So yeah, regardless, whoever is developing Shadow of the Tomb Raider, it's not Crystal Dynamics. Eidos something is developing that game, probably Montreal. So yeah, they're just kind of spreading their wings, getting some more properties under their belt here, and I'm just pumped, man. I can't wait to see what comes of this. Fortunately, we won't hear any more about this until 2018, according to this. So we'll just have to wait for some of that to be leaked, I guess. So
True. Yeah.
fingers crossed. Let's get some of these leakers on it. NeoGaf, get on it. All right, moving on from the Avengers now. Let's talk some fighting games. Tell you what, Frankie. Brent's not here. I'm talking superheroes. I'm talking fighting games. It's like, man, it's like a kid in a candy store here.
Yeah.
Maybe Felsen should be out more often. Yeah, so we got some fighting game news to talk about. Some good news too. Tekken 7 has a release date. It's coming June 2nd.
That's Friday.
A Friday to the PS4, Xbox One, and PC, and it's going to be a nice beefy package. It's going to include the latest arcade revision, meaning Akuma's going to be in there, which is awesome. Really curious to see him in that game. It just seems like he'd be overpowered for that game, but I'm sure they thought about that before they put him in the game. So really curious to see how he plays in that game. Reserving the game gets you what's the name of that lady? Starts with an E.
Eliza.
Eliza. That's
There you go.
the vampire lady. That's who you get for reserving Tekken 7. I don't know. Maybe Tekken and Soul Calibur. They were both kind of in that
That might be
same
it.
vibe.
There was that Street Fighter Cross Tekken game.
Yeah, Street Fighter Cross Tekken. There was on the Sega side of things. There was Virtua Fighters and Fighting Vipers. So I don't know.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah. So there was that kind of stuff from the Sega side of things. So I'm not sure
Right.
which one of those you might be thinking of, but
Wasn't like their SNK versus Capcom?
oh yeah, that's a fantastic game. One of my all-time favorite crossover games. SNK
I might
versus
just be
Capcom
thinking
2.
of. I might just be thinking of the Japanese name of Virtua Fighter or something like that. I could just be mixing it up.
Not sure, man. You're just going deep in the well there.
Yeah, I love me some fighting games, man. I'm trying to get myself pumped up.
Really? Well, you're on the right show here, JD, because we love fighting games too. What's your go-to game, man? Like, what's your fighting game of choice?
Well, right after I say that, and then I'm about to make myself look like a fool. I haven't been playing many of them lately, but
Yeah.
my favorite one's got to either be OG Super Nintendo Street Fighter or PS2 era Mortal Kombat games. I love those games.
Really?
Um,
Okay.
yeah, man, those are my favorites. So I'd probably if I was gonna go grab something right now, I'd go fire up Street Fighter 4 on the 360.
Did you still have that
Sure
Virtua? Is it Virtua Fighter 3 whatever on the Dreamcast that you just picked up?
I do have it, man. I was messing around with that the other day. 3 TB or
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure there. Hold on, I got it right here.
I had that game. Yeah, that one. Yeah, I had that. It's got the silver guy on the
Yeah.
cover.
Yeah, we can hook up our 56K modems on our Dreamcast and play maybe possibly, man.
Oh man, that'd be great.
Remember those days when the internet was a foreign thing in terms of video games?
Man, I remember hooking up. Me and my buddy hooked up our PlayStation 2 Slims with our 56K and played the original Battlefront online,
Nice.
and it actually worked. It
Yeah.
actually worked.
Yeah. I remember Phantasy Star on the Dreamcast. I mean, people were going nuts over Phantasy Star online. It was it was definitely ahead of its time.
Don't get me going about the Dreamcast, man. Get off topic.
Yeah. So, yeah. So I digress. Let's get back to Tekken here. But so June 2nd's the release date. Frankie, did you get your hands on one of those collector's editions? I was too slow to the tick, man, and they were sold out before I could even order one.
I did pre-order one, but it's on Xbox, so I don't know if I'm gonna keep it. But you do get Tekken 6 it's backwards compatible now, so you get a download code for that. So maybe I'll hold on to it. I don't know yet. Soundtrack and that statue, holy crap!
That statue is sweet, man.
Yeah, that's why I want it, man. That statue looks badass. It looks really good, man. I was pissed that I don't even know what I was doing. I'm not sure why I couldn't order it. I must have been working or something. But
Dude, that the PS4 version was gone in like 10 minutes.
oh, was it?
Yeah, it went fast.
Yeah. So got some quotes from Harada-san here. He was talking about why the Tekken 7 was originally supposed to release earlier this year, but they've decided to hold it off till June, so it'll get a mid-year release now. And this is the reasoning. So this is of course according to the franchise director, Katsuhiro Harada. He had this to say, quote, "We were trying to do everything we could to make that date happen, this earlier in the year date, maybe to scale down on the content in order to make the master release, but in the end we came to the decision that after seeing releases from other companies as well as some of the past of our own, where maybe things weren't working 100% at launch, or maybe it was missing some content. That's the kind of thing we wanted to avoid with Tekken 7, so we made a very difficult decision of moving it to June to include all of the original content that we'd originally planned." So, I don't think you have to read between the lines there to see some Street Fighter reference in there. Street Fighter 5 came out as a bare bones package that some people did not take well to. So Tekken 7 trying to avoid that mistake, coming out with, like I said, with the full package. The other thing I really like is this tournament mode they're including with this game. Let me read exactly what it does here, but it It includes different selectable rule sets, so you can set like single or double elimination. Tournaments can be password protected. They basically allow you to set up a kind of competitive scene. Up to 8 people can join in a bracket and battle it out. So players waiting for the
That
game
sounds
can
fun.
also spectate. Yeah, so super cool that this is going to be in the game. You can basically just set up your own tournament right on the spot there. Love that idea. And just for kicks here, the Tekken 7 will also include a season pass for the first time in series history. It'll have a deluxe version of the game, which will include a unique game mode, special characters, exclusive costumes, and 30 metallic costumes as a bonus for season pass purchasers. The collector's edition will also include a steelbook, the game soundtrack, and that badass Hayachi vs. Kazuya figurine. So that's Tekken 7. I'm looking forward to this game. I've seen it played. The arcade version looks really, really good. So Tekken's always been really good on home consoles. I don't anticipate this one being any different. Let's move on to some more superheroes now. But Injustice 2 is out in the wild now in beta form. We've got some gameplay of it floating around out there now. We have a trailer for Robin, who looks badass in this game. He looks really, really good. So I'm looking forward to playing with him. Saw some gameplay of Batman and some of the other characters playing. This game looks great, dude. It's running great right now. It's clearly at a rock solid 60 frames a second. It looks beautiful. This looks like it's going to be a really, really fun game. Did you get a chance to check out any of this stuff, Frankie?
I just watched the Robin trailer, and he looks like a total badass.
Yeah, he's not playing around, man. Talking smack to Batman and the whole 9 yards. He's really getting in there and letting him have it. I have not seen a beta code come through my mailbox. Have you?
No, I'm sure it's sitting in Bender or Brent's with their 20% off codes. So
yeah, the ones that we just never seem to get.
Yeah.
JD, you a fan of Injustice at all? I don't know if you played the first one. Obviously its DNA is in the Mortal Kombat games, so it has that vibe to it. But have you seen any of Injustice 2 at all?
Yeah, I mean, I've watched some of the trailers and stuff, and it does look really crisp, the frame rate. I mean, I don't know how true the trailer video is to the gameplay, but if that's the case, it looks very crisp.
Yeah.
Looks like it's going to be great, man.
Yeah.
And it's in good hands, put it that way.
Yeah. NetherRealm has been just absolutely on fire with their games since Mortal Kombat 9. They've just been cranking out great game after great game. So Injustice 2 looks to be another great game. Injustice 1 was really, really good. So looking forward to hop into this one and seeing how that all plays out. And then finally, in the world of fighting games, we got our EVO 2017 lineup announced. They had a little live stream they did this past week. I tuned in, watched them announce all the games. So EVO typically will choose 9 games. Right now we have 8. And the 8 are as follows. Street Fighter V, of course. Guilty Gear Zerd, Rev 2. Super Smash Bros. On the Wii U and Super Smash Bros. Melee. Both made the cut this year. Injustice 2, Blaze Blue Central Fiction, Tekken 7, and the King of Fighters 14 will all be included in the EVO lineup this year. So that's pretty cool. They got some great games in there. But you may be saying to yourself, but Ben, there are some games missing from that lineup. And I agree with you. There's some heavy hitters that are not there. Killer Instinct, Marvel vs. Capcom, which is my favorite game to watch every single year. Missing in action. But fret not. If your favorite game is not there, you can get involved in the voting process. It's a cool thing that EVO's done before. They're doing it again this year, where you can vote on which game you want to see added in that 9th and final slot for the EVO tournament. You can donate some money to charity. At the same time as well. 100% of the proceeds go to charity. So as we stand currently, well, let's talk about the games that are up for voting right now. So you've got Pokken Tournament, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, Killer Instinct, Windjammers, ARMS, Skullgirls, Needhog, Mortal Kombat XL, and Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo are all up for contention in the voting. Right now, it is a 2-man race, and you may be surprised to find out who those two are. One of them is not shocking. Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. That one is leading the pack right now. But right behind it, nipping at its heels, Pokken Tournament is coming on strong, vying for that 9th and final spot at Evo. So I'm surprised about that. I didn't know there was such a fervent following for Pokken tournament these things. I thought for sure like Killer Instinct or Mortal Kombat would have drawn more interest than that, but guess not.
New Pokemon game just came out, plus Pokemon Go, so that's probably the residual effect of that more than anything.
Yeah, I guess so, man.
But did nobody watch the Pokken tournament last year? That put me to sleep.
I agree. It's not really a fun game to watch. So from all accounts, it's a fun game to play, and it plays really good, and people love it. But yeah, I had the same vibe as you, dude. I was watching that at Evo, and I was like, man, this is not really a great game to watch. Whereas Marvel vs. Capcom 3 is my favorite game to watch every single year. So I'm going to be really sad if that doesn't win the vote here. So get out there and vote for Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. We know the game will be back next year with Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, but let's get one more go around with Marvel 3. Now that we got the game on the current gen consoles, we can see a current gen version of it played at Evo for one final hurrah. So get out there and vote for Marvel vs. Capcom 3. That's my campaign speech.
I like it. I approve.
Frankie Ayler approves this message. Right now, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back. We got lots of cool stuff to talk about. But we've got some music from Ruel Ethan. Follow him at Ruel Ethan on Twitter. We'll be back momentarily. And we're back. Thank you again to Ruel Ethan for providing the music for the show. He does the intro, does the outro, does the intermission. Really appreciate it, man. We love your music. The listeners love your music. So we appreciate all that you do for the show here. So make sure you're following him once again at Ruel Ethan on Twitter. Guy's super talented. Check out his work. He does many other things other than just the stuff you hear on this podcast. So definitely get out there and see what he's all about. Guys, we had a big time release week in terms of release dates. So let's talk about some of the games that we now know when they're coming out. Some exciting titles in here. Starting first off with Prey. We have a launch date for it. It's May 5th. Frankie, I believe you just said that's a Friday. Mm-hmm. So we got a Friday release, May 5th. we're starting now to see the quarter 2 schedule kind of fill out a little bit here. We know quarter 1 is a very bonkers release schedule, tons and tons of games in here. Now we're starting to see some of the games that are slotting in for quarter 2, and we're going to talk about several of them here. But Prey, we got, not only did we get the release date, but we got another new trailer for it, and the more and more I see of this game, the more and more interesting this game looks. This last trailer I thought was really cool. So we know a little bit about what's going on here now. You play as Morgan Yu. You find yourself aboard the Talos 1, which is a very large space station far off from Earth. All hell is broken loose as Typhon, I guess that's how you say these aliens. They've escaped their containment, taking over the space station. You've got to fight your way through it and defeat this threat by any means necessary. So that's kind of the nuts and bolts, very, very general story aspect of Prey. But from what I've seen of the trailer so far, looks, it's got this very strong sense of isolation. Looks like it's going to be there's some cool enemies you're going to get to fight. I get some alien vibes from this game when I watch it. Looks like it's shaping up to be something really cool. Frankie, what do you think about Prey, dude?
Really excited about it. This was one of the things I was really happy to see resurface at E3. While sure, it's not exactly the Prey 2 that I was hoping would come along, this looks severely creepy in its own right.
Yeah.
I like that, what do they call it in the game? Like that metamorphosis thing where you can turn into an object to kind of progress to an area.
Yeah, it's a mimic ability that you get from one of these. Apparently you can gain abilities from these enemies that you fight, and that's an ability that one of these enemies has, and you can take it as your own. And I like when it says around here, roll around as an apple all day if you so choose. Though be warned, it's pretty tough to fight aliens as an apple. So you have that option.
It's words wisdom right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, dude, that game, it looks great. I cannot wait to get in there. I'm actually gonna try and play through the original Prey on 360 here pretty soon. Hopefully, we'll see. But if I don't, I know these games have nothing to do with each other.
Yeah.
But just getting in there and fighting some aliens, I just can't wait, dude. That's my kind of thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's worth noting, like you mentioned there, that this is a reboot of the franchise. So prior knowledge of the original Prey not necessary. You're going to be able to hop in here and kind of get in things on the ground floor from square one. So no need to worry about that. Is this the same Arcane that makes Dishonored, or is this a separate branch of Arcane?
This is a separate one. I believe the Dishonored studio is in France, and this one's actually in Dallas.
Okay, I was going to say Austin, but Dallas.
Yeah,
okay.
Dallas.
So,
yeah, Austin. Maybe it is Austin. I know they're in Texas.
They're in Texas somewhere. So Arcane, Texas studio, developing Prey. So JD, man, we're seeing Bethesda kind of carve out this niche where they're making these really strong, like narrative-based first-person shooters or single-player-based first-person shooters. Like I'm not sure you would consider Doom a narrative-based experience, but they're carving out this space in gaming where they're like renowned for these single-player first-person experiences. We see Doom, we see Wolfenstein, we see Dishonored. Prey looks like it's something that might follow in those footsteps as well, man. What do you think of what you've seen of this game here so far?
It looks very, very cool. I will definitely be grabbing this. Yeah, I think, we all of us have multiplayer shooters in particular that we all love and play all the time. Destiny, Halo, Call of Duty, Battlefield, you name it. And oh wow, Siri just wanted to say hello. She
Hi,
agrees
Siri.
with us. Sorry about that, folks. Yeah, and we all love our multiplayer games, but it's important for single player games to stay alive, and I'm very happy that Bethesda is making sure that happens. And between Wolfenstein and Doom being excellent games, and Dishonored, even though it's not really a shooter, I've a lot of faith that it's going to be good, and I'm happy to see that they're pumping content out, and they are kind of making a little bit of a niche community or a genre, if you want to call it that. It's good.
Yeah,
I think that's a good point too. Like they are really making a strong case for these really I don't want to say narrative driven. Obviously, like Ben, you alluded to with Doom kind of being light on actual story, but these really fun single player experiences that I know they're big critical darlings, and I mean maybe they don't perform, sales wise, up there with maybe where they want them to be right away. But I know Dishonored 2 I saw on a lot of Game of the Year lists. A lot of people were buzzing about that game. Doom definitely high up on a lot of Game of the Year lists. That game is a blast, just an absolute adrenaline rush from start to finish. And we've talked very fondly of Wolfenstein: The New Order in the past. A wonderful way to bring that game into this day and age. So I think even looking at something like Prey, just kind of seeing Bethesda really kind of double down and focus on the core single player experience and just make these really high quality great times. I think that's something that's awesome to see. That's something that I love personally. Titanfall 2, JD you mentioned, has a great multiplayer, but I think Titanfall 2 also has one of the best single player campaigns I've seen in a shooting game. In that vein in a long time. So
absolutely,
Bethesda's just doing great stuff right now, man.
Is Mick Gordon doing the soundtrack for this?
I personally don't know who's on the soundtrack. Frankie, have you heard one way or another?
I don't think he is. I don't think he's really worked with Arcane.
Because I know he's working on something else that he did an interview about not too long ago.
I don't think he's.
I was just gonna say because I hope he is because I love his music. It's great.
For people that don't know, JD, what has Mick Gordon worked on in the past?
Oh wow, he's done a lot of stuff. Killer Instinct. He did the Wolfenstein: New Order and Old Blood. Doom, obviously, which is absolutely wonderful, heavy, atmospheric soundtrack. So yeah. Anything he's touched, I've really liked, and I was kind of hoping to hear. You know what? I'm reading right now. He is doing the soundtrack for Prey. So,
nice.
And yeah, that's what the reason I brought that up is because he's going to take a different approach with it this time. So I'm excited to hear that. Won't be so metal based. Want to see what he's got to do.
Did he mention what his new approach might be?
As far as I remember, he just said it's not going to be metal.
Spaghetti Western elements mixed in with synths.
Yeah, I think he said it's gonna be a dubstep disco. Nah, man. No. I'm just excited to hear what he's gonna put on there.
Yeah, that's what he describes it as: spaghetti Western elements mixed with synths.
Interesting. Yeah, Prey it obviously looks to be a very atmospheric game. I imagine sections of this game that are going to be very creepy, or you're going to be kind of moving through this space station alone. You might not know what's around the corner. I could see some Dead Space elements in terms of that in this game. So yeah, I'll be interested to see what the soundtrack eventually sounds like. But I imagine it's going to be very, very atmospheric soundtrack. And just want to note here too, Bethesda has also announced that the Cosmonaut Shotgun Pack will be the bonus pack available to you, to those of you who pre-order the game. So go out and make that yours if you so choose. So yeah, we talked about there, but yeah, it's worth noting that in this time of multiplayer shooters, and when people think of a first-person shooter, they just think of Call of Duty and Battlefield, and more often than not, they think of going online and playing with their friends before anything else. So I love that they've kind of buckled down on these single-player experiences in the first-person genre, and even when they're not shooters like Dishonored, they just have a way with publishing these studios who make these really good single player first person experiences. So kudos to them. I hope they keep keep cranking these things out. Although I don't know, I understand Dishonored didn't sell very well, but hopefully that's something that'll have legs and it'll kind of pick up in the future. But I imagine Doom sold pretty well. It seemed like a lot of people were buying that. A lot of people were talking about that one. So imagine that one sold pretty well. But yeah, Prey looks awesome though. I really like what I've seen in that game, so I've got my eye on that one for May 5th. Also, we didn't get a release date for this game, but we got a window, also coming out in May. Is this game The Surge? Frankie, we've talked about this a little bit on the show here before, but from what I understand of the Surge, it's created by Deck 13, who, if I'm not mistaken, were the people behind Lords of the Fallen. So they're making the Surge now, and it's been described as kind of a Dark Souls in space kind of game, or a Dark Souls meets sci-fi type of experience. They released a new trailer with the release window here of May. It's called Bad Day at the Office. It's fully cinematic. I don't think there's any gameplay in there from what I could see. There's a few instances in there where you could maybe get a hint of what the game might look like, but there's no actual gameplay in the trailer. It's all cinematic. But I think this game sounds really interesting. It could be one of those sleeper hits. Deck 13, I thought they were onto something with Lords of the Fallen. That was a solid game from what I played. I didn't get very far into it. I sucked at it. But from what I played, it seemed like a very capable Dark Souls type of game. So this seems like the next logical step from them, and they look to be kind of really taken to the next level. I mean, this looks like quite the production that they're putting together with the Surge here. So what do you think, man? Is this something that is going to be on your radar for May as well?
It is, but I'm kind of treading with caution, just because I still feel kind of burned from the Technomancer, and I know that wasn't them, but I think this still falls under the Maximum umbrella. So, and even the gameplay
Wait, is this Maximum? Are they publishing this?
I don't understand how the partnership works, but Maximum and Focus are
Focus Home
somehow
Interactive or whatever,
intertwined somewhere.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
But I don't know. I mean, the gameplay that we have seen of this game kind of looks like the Technomancer to me. So I started getting like that nervous twitch of, oh, not this again. But I'm still trying to remain optimistic. You take a Dark Souls game and give it like a space setting. That sounds like it has a lot of promise. I really want this game to end up being really cool. But I also don't know how quickly I'm going to hop into it. I may actually wait for reviews to come out for this one before I even touch it, or unless we end up with a review copy. But
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, with Prey coming out that month, I think that'll scratch my sci-fi itch for the month, and I'll probably have Andromeda somewhere on the back burner. So I'm very interested in the game, but I just a lot of concerns with it, so I'm going to hold off a little while.
Well, I know you just mentioned Andromeda on the back burner, so let me make sure JD is still connected to this podcast. Are you there, dude?
I was waiting patiently for my turn to say anything about that.
Yeah, I'm just playing with you, man. Are you a Dark Souls fan at all, man? Do you get into these kind of games?
Yeah, so I am. I liked Demon Souls. That's the only one I even came. Demon Souls and Dark Souls I came close to completing. For whatever reason, I never quite did, but I enjoyed them. So something I like Bloodborne. Again, I just started that not too long ago. I didn't beat it.
Bloodborne's really good.
Yeah, I love
good.
those games. I just so in that sense it is interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you like the idea of a game like that in space? Does that sound like something you might get into?
Yeah, I definitely do. I'm kind of with Frankie, just for different reasons, but to kind of take a wait and see approach to this game. So, assuming it reviews anywhere from decent to good, I'll probably grab it. And the price depends on the price too. If it's going to be a full $60 or $40 range, I'm not sure.
It's a $60.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll probably wait to see what people say about it in that case.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you guys. I have a morbid curiosity about this game because I think it sounds like it could be really interesting. But I know, Deck 13. They made the one game in Lords of the Fallen that was cool, but I didn't want to see them take it to the next level with this one. And Frankie, like you mentioned, we haven't seen the greatest things come out of this Maximum Focus Home Interactive partnership. So hopefully Deck 13 can transcend that and deliver something cool. But I think this has the potential to be kind of a sleeper game. May's a nice time to release one of these kind of games. So we'll see how it all pans out. I'm pulling for the Surge. It sounds like a cool idea.
Yeah. Totally.
Also in Q2, we've got Dirt coming this June. Dirt 4. With coming over to PS4, PC, Xbox One. I imagine this is going to be a beautiful game from Codemasters. Is the Evolution team part of this group here, or are they their own wing in here? Do you know?
I would assume they're their own wing because I know that the Dirt series has been long running, so I can't
Yeah.
imagine they would have just thrown the Evolution guys into Dirt.
Yeah. I've never played a Dirt game. I know it's kind of has its spiritual roots in like the Colin McRae series and some of those rally games from the old PlayStation days.
Mhm.
I've always heard really good things about this series. You know, it sounds like a fantastic racing series, especially from the rally side of things. I mean, they don't get any better than Dirt. Have you played any of these before, Frankie? Have you got any experience with Dirt?
I haven't had any like a lot of extended hands-on time. I have a coworker who picked up Dirt 3 on the PS3. Just out of curiosity because he was watching a gameplay trailer. He's like, "Oh, this looks cool. I'm gonna pick it up." So yeah, we messed around with that for a night. And it was just kind of funny because the little air freshener dangles around in the in the car. So, but I mean, I don't know. I'm not a big rally racing fan, so I typically don't touch those games. But the only one that kind of appealed to me was actually that Showdown. I think it was. So I think that was more of a
Dirt Showdown. Yeah.
yeah. I think that was more of like a destruction type of thing where you're trying to ram enemies and stuff. So, but I don't know. I haven't really dabbled with any of the other mainline Dirt games. So
Yeah. JD, where do you fall on racing games? Is this a genre you enjoy at all, or something you can do without?
Yeah, no, I definitely enjoy them. I don't go too crazy with them. Probably falls into the category of buy it used or when it's cheaper and dig into it then.
Yeah.
So yeah, this will be something I'll grab if and when the price is right.
Have you ever played any of the Dirt games? Any experience with this franchise at all?
I think I played. It was one of them on the 360 because if
Yeah.
I'm almost
Several of them
positive
were, I
I
think.
have.
I think all of them.
Yeah,
are,
yeah. I'm almost positive I have one of these
Uh-huh.
games. Yep, it's like mostly like do they do like a dirt bike one too, or is that I'm not, or is it all rallying
It's
stuff?
all rally stuff. I think.
Not
I don't
sure.
think there's a dirt bike one.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. Anyway, I'm pretty sure I do have one of these on the 360, but yeah, I like racing games here and there.
Yeah. You know, I really like racing games, man. I have fun when I sit down and play them. I just don't really sit down and play them all that often.
Exactly.
It's something I like to do more of. Like I can remember Split Second on the PS3 and 360.
Ah,
That was an awesome game. I sat down and I invested my time in that game and I was just hooked to it. I got the platinum in that game. I just played that game nonstop for weeks. It was such a good time, and that's what racing games can do. Like if you sit down and get invested to them, like you can have that type of experience in it. Gran Turismo is the same way. It's a simulation game, but when you sit down and invest yourself in that game, you start earning licenses and building up the cars in your garage and all that crazy stuff. Like that stuff gets really, really addicting.
There is a racing sim I actually have been putting a lot of hours into lately. I mean, talk about realism. Mario Kart 7.
Oh, yeah.
I've been hooked on that, man.
So those turtle shells is as real as they come, man. I mean,
Dude, give me Shy Guy and or Yoshi and a couple banana peels and a green shell, and I'll win the race, man, every time.
nice.
yeah, I use Yoshi a lot too. Koopa was my guy too. Koopa Troopa.
Did
You know what? Double Dash is the best, man. I need to get that rolling somehow again. I love that game.
let me just
Hopefully we'll see it on the Switch, right? The GameCube
Yeah.
backwards compatibility.
Oh, please, please, please. That would be great.
I'm really jealous that you got a platinum trophy in Split Second. I was that guy in there on like day one online. That's one of those games that the online mode, if like any loss would knock you back in your rank.
Yeah.
Dude, it was just everyone had bought that damn time savers pack on day one, so I'm in there like figuring, oh, everyone else probably just picked this up today. You know, they probably got the same cars I have. Just getting smoked by everybody.
Really?
It was
Man.
rough.
I invested my time in that game, man. I got good at that game. I went online. Online was really fun. Just I was smoking the competition, man. And then when I finally got my last online trophy, I was excited. That was such a good game, though. I had so much fun with that game.
Yeah, that one was great. I like learning like the mechanics of that game and getting those like level 2, like the level destruction things. Like you had that ship
Yeah.
you could take guys out with.
Oh
like,
yeah,
dude, that
Yeah.
game was something else, man.
yeah. Ton of fun with that game, and yeah. So I really like racers. Obviously, Burnout's awesome game. So I just need to find the time to sit down and play some more of them, because when you do invest yourself into one of these, it can be a pretty awesome experience.
Yeah, that's where I'm at too. Though I got to fire up Forza Horizon 3 one time. I like that game a lot. I think it's really good, but I'm also not going to play a whole lot of it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Just kind of is what it is, man. The nature of the beast.
Yeah.
When you try and play all these different genres, you try and partake of all these different games. Just like some stuff's got to fall by the wayside, and unfortunately, it's more often than not seems like the racing games that get left behind. But yeah, hopefully we'll make some time to play some more of these this year. Dirt 4, the trailer they had for it, I don't know if I'm assuming that's probably cinematic, but I'm sure that's going to be a stellar looking title. So they looked good on last gen, so I can imagine the current gen versions of that game are going to look pretty sweet.
Yeah.
So look forward to that in June. Also on the release date front, we have the date now for the second and final piece of Dark Souls 3 DLC. It's titled The Ringed City. It's coming out March 28th. So right at the end of quarter one there, when all that other good stuff's happening. It'll be out for obviously for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. $14.99 for the game. It's also part of the Dark Souls 3 Season Pass. I like the synopsis of this game too, or of this DLC. The Ringed City will delve into the literal end of the world, fitting for the final expansion for this for last year's Dark Souls 3. The expansion is set at World's End and will be the setting for players to die again and again in search of new armor, weapons, magic, and bosses. Set amidst the ruins of cities and castles, Bandai Namco teases that players will uncover the secrets of the past in the city alongside new horrors. And of course, a new trailer accompanied the game. It looks certifiably Dark Souls, tons of epic-looking boss battles, some desolate locations, some very beautifully dark scenery. So it looks like it's going to be more of the same Dark Souls 3 that people love. Frankie, what'd you think about this, man? You ready to get back into Dark Souls 3 yet?
Hell yeah, man, dude! That trailer looks intense. I was
That
actually
flaming beast that's like shooting fireballs at you. That looks pretty intense.
Oh yeah. But yeah, it's funny because I was going to reinstall Dark Souls 3 this week. I was just gonna continue playing on Xbox, but I figure at this point, since I haven't touched it in about a year, I might as well just restart it. So
Probably forgot a few things by now.
yeah, definitely forgot a few things by now. So, but I saw that we're getting a Game of the Year version.
Game of the Year edition at the end of that trailer, April 21st.
Well,
Will include the entire Dark Souls 3 saga.
I guess I'll hold off on reinstalling then, because I didn't pick up the season pass. I did think ahead to at least that far to not buy, the
there you
season
go.
pass.
Look at you.
With my collector's edition of the game. So
yeah. I forked out for one of those too. It's cool. I like that collector's edition.
yeah, that's a cool statue.
Yeah, cool statue. Man, I feel like I would like these Dark Souls games. I've played I've played some of Bloodborne, dabbled around a little bit with some of the other ones, and they're a lot of fun. It's another one of those games where I just have to really invest myself in. Like I have to really really dig into my mind and be like, look, dude, you're gonna die. You're gonna have to go back to where you were. You're gonna have to keep playing this stuff over and over. I have to really steel myself and invest my time into one of these games because they can be very rewarding at that point. I know I was playing through that Neo demo recently, the one the Last Chance Trial or whatever. That's gonna be a good game. My gosh, that game's awesome. A lot of fun with that one so far. But yeah, it's basically a Dark Souls game, and I was just one false move, one wrong block, or one wrong sword strike when you weren't supposed to, and you just get killed by a regular dude. So it's a punishing, unforgiving title. But I was having fun with Neo playing through that demo, and I was like, man, I kind of want to get into one of these Dark Souls kind of games and then really invest myself into it and see how far I can get into one of these things. But haven't done that with Dark Souls 3 yet.
Knowing that you like Bloodborne, you're probably gonna like Dark Souls 3. It definitely drew some influence with the combat from Bloodborne. Feels a lot more much more fluid, a lot faster paced. You're still gonna pay for mistakes, but It felt a lot less punishing than Dark Souls 2. So
Really? Okay. Interesting. JD, you fired up Dark Souls 3 at all, man?
I haven't played Dark Souls 3, or 2 for that matter, but they are definitely games on the upper echelon of my backlog that are going to get played sooner rather than later. Especially hearing that complete edition or whatever.
Yeah,
I guess you were
Game of the Year
mentioning
edition.
before.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to probably end up getting that and do it that way. I know Dark Souls 2 is really cheap as well, so
Yeah.
so
Get it for
I can
20
pretty much grab
bucks
that
or
whenever.
less regularly. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I hear people say all different things about all of them. Like people will say 2 is the best, people will say 3 is the best. People will say Demon Souls is the best. So I know that all of them are going to be good. So I'm definitely going to be playing those soon.
Nice. What else? You mentioned something that interesting. You said Dark Souls. A couple of games that are towards the upper tier of what you want to play on your backlog. What else is up there, man? Like, what's the number one game that you want to get to that's in your backlog right now?
Oh man, that's tough, man. I got to think about that for a second.
Yeah.
Because that's wow. There's a lot of stuff, man. I wanna.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. I got a closet full of stuff that I need to get to.
I'm still gearing up to make an actual attempt to get through The Witcher 3 this year. Like that's
Dude,
happening.
that is a must. You have to do that, man. That game is incredible. Incredible.
I already got it installed, so I'm good to go. Just want to get through Resident Evil first, maybe not. Maybe I'll wait for the DLC. Maybe I'll just jump into The Witcher.
It's worth it, man.
How about you,
It is
boys?
worth
I
it.
know you, you have your notorious titles, but besides those,
Besides Second Son and
besides
Final
the
Fantasy.
obvious, what else you got up there that's really been bugging you that you haven't got to play?
Honestly, Metal Gear Solid 4 is a game
Oh.
I've still yet
That
to
is a
play.
great one.
Yeah.
Go back, let's chat.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah,
there's
dude,
nothing wrong with that, man.
No, I mean
Yeah,
I'm
I'm-
with you because I still got the Mass Effect trilogy on mine. So.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. Both of those. Jeez. You guys got to play those. Damn.
Yeah, Metal Gear Solid and Metal Gear Solid 2 are two of my top 10 favorite games of all time, and I for whatever reason have been unable to sit down and play through the other games in the Metal Gear saga, and I'm very, very disappointed in myself for that because I know I would love those games. I absolutely love Metal Gear Solid. Seriously, one of my top 5 franchises in the entire world, and I just haven't found the time to sit down and play through it. So it's shameful, but Metal Gear Solid 4 is probably definitely at the top of that shameful backlog pile.
You know what's funny?
That's my favorite Metal Gear.
Really? Cool.
Yeah, I love that one.
Yeah.
I got talked into buying a PS3 because of the Metal Gear franchise. Because I had a friend who was just obsessed with them. He's like, "Yeah, dude, they got a bundle coming out. It's backwards compatible. You go pick up the first game, get 2 and 3. You can play them on your PS3." It's like, all right, yeah, cool, do that. So I did. I went out and bought them. I got the Metal Gear bundle that was backwards compatible. Never fired up Metal Gear.
Yeah.
I think I installed it and watched Snake smoke about 6 cigarettes. But
Yeah.
never got into it.
Metal Gear Solid was life altering for me, dude. When I played that game on PlayStation, I'd never played a game like that ever. It was just it was just an incredible experience. And I can remember fighting Psycho Mantis and having to plug in your controller into controller port 2 in order to fight him because he could read your mind if
Oh,
you were
yeah,
plugged
that's
into
right.
controller port 1. Just stuff like that was just so next level
Or
thinking.
the fake your console shutting off thing or whatever
Yeah.
it did.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was so much cool stuff in Metal Gear Solid. That's a game I would love to see them go back and remake. I
my God.
don't care if it's Twin Snakes or the regular Metal Gear, whatever. I would love to see somebody go back in there and remake Metal Gear Solid 1 for modern consoles. I absolutely love that game. And then everything just got taken to the next level with Metal Gear Solid 2. I still remember that trailer when it was released at E3. It was just man, it was one of the coolest E3 trailers of all time. It just looked incredible for the time, and that game was just nuts. I loved it, absolutely loved it. And shamefully, I haven't played Metal Gear Solid 4, so there's that.
I think I started Metal Gear 2 when that the HD collection came out, because I think I have a trophy for 2.
Hmm.
I think I did like the first boss encounter. And
One trophy.
yeah, I got one trophy on like release day. I was like, cool, yeah, I got one. Good. Stupid.
Congrats. Nice. So yeah, so that was our roundabout way of discussing that we need to play Dark Souls. So
Uh-huh.
we'll get around to that at some point. But the Dark Souls 3 DLC, once again, March 28th, Game of the Year edition. Shortly after that, April 21st. One more release date I want to mention here before we move on. Mankind Divided, second story DLC, A Criminal Past, now has a release date, February 23rd. Of course, it's on the PS4, Xbox One, and PC. This is included as part of the season pass for the game. If you don't have it, we don't have a price for the game yet, but the first story mission or DLC was $12, so you can anticipate it being around the same price. JD, I know you're a huge Deus Ex fan. I've heard you talk about it on your show. Have you played the first DLC for this game yet? Is the second one something you're interested in at all? Do you, if you have?
Yeah, absolutely, man. That game was a surprise, surprisingly enjoyable for me. I really loved Mankind Divided, so I'm absolutely gonna play through that. I actually just fired it up just to see if I could get into another playthrough the other day, and I'm working on another playthrough of that at my leisure. No rush.
Yeah.
Excellent game. So any DLC is welcome, and I'm excited for it.
Have you played the System Rift DLC yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
I played. The only thing I didn't do is there's some weird, I think, multiplayer mode or something. I forget. Or there's some mode on there I didn't play, but I did play the System Rift and the bank heist thing or whatever that is. But
Okay.
yeah, no, any Deus Ex content is good in
How,
my book, and I'm excited for it.
How was System Rift? Was it worth your time or?
Yeah, it's just more great
More of the same good stuff?
action stealth goodness.
Yeah, it looks like A Criminal Past will take place before the events of Mankind Divided, so that's kind of cool. It sees Adam Jensen infiltrate a high-security prison for augmented felons, his first mission for TF-29. So you get a little history on Adam before the game even starts, so sounds like that could be cool. So that's going to do it for the release dates that we got this week. Now let's get into some Xbox bulletins. We're going to start with some Project Scorpio talk. Now this is for the most part, Scorpio has been kind of shrouded in mystery. We had the kind of official unveiling of it, or the official hey, we're working on this at E3 this past year, where we got kind of an idea of what this thing was going to be and some of the beef that was going to be in this console. But this week we had this it's interesting. I guess they call it a white page leak. It's something that goes out to developers and explains or kind of documents how they can get the most out of their games, or how they can utilize the Scorpio when they're developing their games. So it's a document that's readily available to developers and Eurogamers able to get their hands on it. And not a ton of new information or anything in here, but it's just interesting to see some of the things confirmed that we at least thought about the system. Once again, the 6 teraflops of power, or the more important number here is that the GPU in the Scorpio is going to be 4.5 times as powerful as the regular Xbox One GPU. This is a sizable graphics jump on this machine. There's going to be some different RAM architecture in the Scorpio, which makes making all these games backwards compatible makes it an interesting proposition. So I'll be curious to see how that plays out there. It appears that the CPU in the system may not be part of the new architecture that AMD's been talking about. This Zen architecture, which is supposed to be a little bit more powerful than their last chipset. So a lot of that is due to the fact that they believe that there's going to be this kind of this standard architecture that these systems are going to build off of for the future, so that these games are backwards compatible. So there's a few other things in there. There's mentioned checkerboard rendering, which we see on the PS4 Pro. to kind of get that some of the tricks that they use to get these 4K images on these TVs. So some interesting stuff in there. But I want to ask you, JD. Where do you stand on this stuff, man? What do you think of the Scorpio? What do you think of the PS4 Pro? What do you think of this idea of the mid-generation refresh on these consoles that maybe juices them up a little bit? Still, obviously, still works with the old library. Still the same games. The old console still works fine. What do you think about this idea of the mid-cycle refresh? And what do you think about what we've heard of Scorpio in particular so far? Based on some of this new information that we have.
So, as Brent said many times, and I'll quote him, I'm a tech whore. Anytime I see new technology, I want to get my hands on it and mess with it and check it out. So, in that sense, it's exciting. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Particularly the half step consoles, the slims and all that. I don't have a problem with them. I like them as long as the compatibility works, and the price is fair. That's big. Particularly with the Scorpio, I'm gonna get it. I'm definitely gonna grab it, barring an absurd price point. I mean, if we start getting into the $650 and up range, then I probably won't get it. But
boy, I sure hope not. That's
yeah. I mean, people have. I personally don't believe that it will be that expensive, but people have speculated some prices. So, barring that, I'll definitely be grabbing it. And yeah, I like it. I've heard some interesting stuff that they're possibly going to open it up. Kind of, if you can imagine, they're doing the Xbox Anywhere, where you can play Xbox games on your PC and possibly maybe we can play some Windows games on our Xbox. That type of thing interests me if they would do that. And I also heard someone explaining how there's going to kind of be two functionalities with Scorpio. I'm trying to remember what podcast I was listening to. They were specifically talking about the white paper and trying to explain some of that. But anyway, they were saying is that there's going to be Microsoft first-party games which are going to run a specific way, and then they kind of have a separate mode, I guess, or functionality to where third-party stuff would get utilized. So I don't know. There's some interesting potential for that. So assuming the price is right, I'm excited for it.
Gotcha. Cool. Franklin, what do you think about what we've heard from the Scorpio, man? This, like I said, this white pages document wasn't a ton of new information. Kind of reaffirmed some of the stuff we heard, gave us an idea of some of the other stuff we were wondering about. Also, it proposed this idea that this wasn't necessarily going to be just the slam dunk native 4K that we were expecting that this would offer. So I thought that was an interesting wrinkle into this as well, that they might utilize some of that checkerboard technique as well to kind of get these images onto the 4K displays and maybe use some of that power elsewhere, via a frame rate or something else in the game. But what do you think about what we've heard about Scorpio so far, man?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, this sounds a lot like what we were expecting. I was kind of surprised to hear that we're going to be getting the checkerboard thing, because that seems to, like, the native 4K thing has been, like, Aaron Greenberg and, Major Nelson and the mouthpieces of Xbox's, like, big marketing thing is, native 4K. So, hearing that we're probably going to get the checkerboarding thing, that sucks, I guess, for, people who are excited about the native 4K. But again, like, I'm still on a 1080 TV. In fact, I just bought a new 1080, TV not too long ago. So, if I get my 1080 and a locked 60 without any frame rate issues, that's where my selling point would be with that, along with, some kind of VR support, which is what I'm still waiting to hear about, because I'm not going to lie, I'm not really in the market to buy another Xbox. I'm still trying to figure out what exactly I'm going to be buying past Halo Wars 2 this year. So, yeah, I've already bought two Xbox Ones. Without a 4K TV and, some kind of VR stuff, I don't foresee myself ending up with a Scorpio anytime soon. So,
gotcha. Yeah, I'm really curious to see how the Scorpio turns out and how this technology works, and this very large gulf between what the Xbox One is and what the Xbox Scorpio is going to be And I wonder too if there's some confusion in the development community as well. And specifically, I wanna hone in on what this Ori developer said this past week. And I'm not gonna hone in on the PS4 Pro comment. I just think it was kind of a one-off thing. I don't think he was really trying to be negative or anything towards that. I think he was just a guy just on a forum just talking, and I think that was kind of blown out of proportion. But the more important or the more interesting thing that he said is that let me just read his quote here. So he says, this is Thomas Mahler. He's a developer for Moon Studios, worked on Ori and the Blind Forest. He had this to say on a NeoGAF forum when people were he was on some kind of Scorpio thread. He said, all consoles now are x86 PCs. So this is the architecture I was alluding to a few minutes ago. This is the architecture that's in both the Xbox One and the PS4, and this is what we believe is going to carry on through these generations as these consoles iterate into the future here. So all consoles now are x86 PCs, and the architecture will remain the same. That's why Sony was able to quickly iterate on the PS4 and make a beefier version of it. Scorpio is a next-gen machine, with the added benefit that all your old games will still be compatible. From this point on, similar to PCs, you'll not lose your library when you buy a next-gen system. I guess since NeoGAF is confused, Microsoft will need to do a little work to make it clear to everyone that Scorpio isn't just a half-assed upgrade, which the PS4 Pro kinda is, but a full-blown next-gen machine that's just backwards compatible to your current library. So, I want to ask you about this, Frankie, but to me, this seems like a little bit of a different message than the one that Microsoft's trying to put out. In fact, in that White Pages document, it specifically notes in there, once again, that games for the Scorpio must play on the Xbox One and the Xbox One S. So Thomas Mahler, the way he's talking here, it almost seems like he believes that there will be Scorpio-only software, or when he calls it a full-blown next-gen machine. You know, that to me, it sounds like he thinks this is a completely new piece of architecture, or a completely new piece of hardware that is going to have its own set of games. And sure, you'll be able to play your old games, but it sounds like he thinks that this thing is going to have its own games as well, which is not the message that Microsoft has put out there. So I ask you, is this kind of something Microsoft is going to ease us into? Like, is there going to be Scorpio-only games in the future because this thing is so powerful? Or is this just Thomas Mahler being just misinformed or maybe just misspeaking when he's on the forum here? What do you think?
I think there's probably a lot of miscommunication somewhere in the pipeline here. It just, when Microsoft was on stage, this console is like billed as, being beyond generations or whatever. So, right from the start, all your games are going to play on all three of these iterations of Xbox One. I worry that, we're hitting this point where, you have a developer like this who they're talking about the system as if it is a next generation system, which it is. For all intents and purposes, the Xbox Scorpio is the next generation of Xbox.
I mean, once again, 4.5 times more powerful than the standard Xbox One. That's a huge leap.
Yes. So it's disappointing knowing going into buying one of those that it will not have exclusive games to take advantage of the extremely obvious power advantages it has over the existing Xbox. But when you have developers out there saying stuff like this who think that, these aren't going to coexist, like, are we going to see, like, the next Moon Studios game going through QA and just failing certification because they didn't know that this game had to run on the original Xboxes, like the original Xbox Ones? Stuff like that is concerning to me, especially, and I know Microsoft has kind of had a lot of problems with their messaging, since the announcement of the Xbox One. It's 180 here, 180 there. Are we going to see a point now where the Scorpio, a year into being on the market, is going to start seeing exclusive games? Yeah, I would hope not, just because, again, you want all these games to be compatible across, each iteration of the console. So I don't know. I think we're treading some kind of weird ground with this one, just because this one is so different from the Pro. Like, yes, like I had said when the PlayStation Pro was announced, like, it is a half-step console, but that's the point.
Yeah.
This isn't meant to be like the next PlayStation, console. It's just that something to bridge the gap between now and the next generation. And that's what the Scorpio. That's what the Scorpio on paper is supposed to be, but for what's inside of it, it's really not. It's a
Yeah.
completely it's a different beast, as everyone likes to
Mm-hmm.
call it. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how this whole Scorpio thing plays out when we finally start getting some official announcements and the console reveal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, the PS4 Pro still a PS4. There will be a PS5 at some point in the future. You can pretty much take that to the bank. But yeah, I'm really curious to see how they do this, Scorpio. Now, let me ask you this, man. If let's say we get a year into the Scorpio, and we're 5 years into the Xbox One cycle now, and Microsoft comes out and is like, look, we're gonna start making Scorpio only games now. Like, we've let this thing kind of go for a year. We've kind of eased you guys into the Scorpio ecosystem. We're 5 years into this generation now. Like, we're gonna start making some Scorpio games that are only for this machine to take advantage of some of this power. Would you be mad if they did something like that? Would consumers be mad about that? Is that even something that they would do? What do you think?
I think like JD was talking before, that might be something that boils down more to the price point. If the system itself is on the level with the PlayStation Pro, where you're basically looking at a $399 console, then I think if you're talking another 2-3 years down the road from now, like, oh hey, the next Halo game is only going to be playable on the Scorpio. I think that maybe you're kind of, people are going to be pissed about it, but I think it would be more acceptable, like just another couple of years from now, versus like, them be like, oh, hey, the Scorpio is coming out this fall. By the way, Halo 6 is coming out exclusively on the Scorpio. It's one of those things, like you mentioned, like if you're easing people into owning this console, as it's becoming cheaper, as it's becoming, the Xbox One S kind of maybe starts slowly getting phased out, and, the Scorpio kind of becomes the prominent SKU for the Xbox One, then yeah, I could see them, kind of looking at it saying, well, hey, a lot of the Xbox gamers out there have a Scorpio now. Let's kind of start phasing out, the old, and doing more with what we have, under the hood of this thing.
Mm-hmm. Would you personally be disappointed, or be like, what are you doing, if they did something like that?
I wouldn't be too happy about it, just because, like I said, I've bought 2 Xbox Ones now, and looking at this year, I don't know what the hell I'm buying on it, because I understand people are excited about Crackdown and Sea of Thieves and State of Decay and games like that coming out for the system, but for me, like, those just don't do anything for me. So if I'm looking at buying a Scorpio because, things like Scalebound and things like Sunset Overdrive 2 are now possible on it, then, yeah, I mean, I would be kind of pissed at that point, but I wouldn't be upset if I'm waiting to play Halo 6 or Gears of War 5 or Forza Horizon 4. If they're going to stick to their same stable of games and, they move them as exclusives, within a year, then I don't mind waiting to eventually get one of those things. So
Right on. Yeah, I mean, and once again, they've said from the beginning, Scorpio will play the same games as Xbox One. So there would be a lot of people that would be upset if they decided to go that way. JD, let me bring you in on this, man. So what do you think about what Thomas Mahler had to say about the Scorpio? Is this something where he's just kind of he misspoke, or maybe he used the improper wording when he's talking about this? Is there maybe a disconnect between what the developers are expecting from the Scorpio and what Microsoft expecting from it? And what do you think about this idea that possibly, I'm not saying they will, but just hypothetically, if Microsoft were to ease people into a Scorpio generation, and we're 5 years into the Xbox One, 5.5 years into the Xbox One life cycle, and they decide they want to start utilizing some of that extra power with a Scorpio only game, like, how would you feel about that? Or how do you think consumers would feel? What do you think about all that stuff?
Well, so I think that their communication between any massive corporation and a single developers, there's a good chance that stuff got messed up. I definitely could see that happening. I don't know his relationship with whoever his contacts or whoever he works with at Microsoft is exactly, so I couldn't say too much about that. But I don't think he was being like facetious or malicious or whatever you want to call it about the PS4 Pro comment. I think that's just
I think
kind of,
people blew that way out of proportion.
yeah. I think he was just kind of goofing around. I don't know if he necessarily is in great has great communication with with Microsoft or not. Could go either way with that. And I think for sure Microsoft would be foolish to make a big deal about compatibility and then not have it be compatible. That would be idiotic, for a lack of a better word.
Yeah.
I'm not putting it past anyone to be making these kind of decisions. Sometimes these corporations do some goofy, silly things. So I don't know. I would suspect that they would at least keep their word on that at first. I mean, there's always the possibility that eventually, yes, when depending on sales and the community and downloads and all that, they could make the move to kind of go for some exclusivity. But what I suspect that they're going to do, and Microsoft is basically a PC company, you know, that they always have been. I think they're going to go for kind of what the deal is with PCs, where the game itself is spec'd a certain way, but you can optimize it, and maybe they're going to get one type of quality. They'll get a certain quality from third parties and there's variables of it. A Scorpio version and an Xbox One version, you know, and kind of do it the PC way, where you can run the same game on different levels of quality and power. So I could see them doing something like that, and also I think when the developer was saying it's next gen, I think he meant like power wise. I don't think he meant like it's ending like compatibility or anything like that. And then as far as the 4K thing goes, I can't remember the podcast I was listening to, but they were getting into that, and from what I understood was basically first party games will be like legit 4K games, if you will. I don't know if it's going to be 2160p or whatever. I don't know how they'll spec that out, but I think they're kind of the third party aspect is where they're going to try to up-res some stuff and checkerboard it, because if you think about it, to put all that power into it to just not have it actually be 4K, and also to say native or true 4K gaming, whatever they called it, I don't remember exactly. That would just kind of be a waste. Like, why pay the extra whatever money it's going to cost to develop and purchase that console and not have 4K in it? So I think we'll see, at least from first party Microsoft games, we'll see some kind of actual 4K gaming. Third party stuff, we'll see. I know Andromeda, they said they're not doing any kind of 4K upgrade for it, so maybe that's where that checkerboarding will come in handy, where they can kind of just do that themselves within the hardware. I don't know, we'll see.
One of the things you mentioned that the Xbox Play Anywhere initiative, and seeing like Resident Evil 7 kind of hop in there and take advantage of it. I remember I forget which outlet it was, but somebody was talking about the implementation of like the Universal Windows platform in there, and how games that take advantage of that running on Windows 10 and Xbox One, like you could actually use that to kind of scale games, so that you have like Resident Evil 7, for instance, and if you are able to scale it up to 1440 or checkerboard to hit what is it, 2160? Is that the resolution?
Yeah, that's kind of the 4K like spec.
Yeah, so if you could scale it on PC, it would actually work the same way on the Scorpio, where it would be able to scale as well using the UWP platform. But
right,
I don't actually know in practice how that works.
Yeah, I'm like kind of like a layman with that kind of stuff. I know very little bit about it, but I also heard something interesting, which could be a huge deal. I don't necessarily think it's going to happen, because Microsoft would kind of be cutting off their own version of this, but they've been meeting with the guys from Valve and talking about Steam and stuff like that. That would be crazy to see Steam on a console. That would be nuts, because that would literally be them saying, yes, this is a PC that we're just pre-making for you. I don't know how I feel about that. It would be kind of cool to be able to play PC games on my console, not have to worry about building it, not have to worry about all that kind of thing. But at the same time, there's something kind of unique about a console and PC being separate. So we'll see how that goes. But I don't know, man. I'm excited about it. I think we're going to see some cool stuff with Scorpio, some unique things. And if it's something different and it's successful, it'll spark Nintendo and Sony to try something different and be successful there, and it keeps the competitiveness going. That's what I look forward to, because then if the Scorpio is successful, the PlayStation 5 is going to be even crazier, and then you know how it goes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you think Microsoft's going to come out and do a separate Scorpio press conference, or do you think they just hold this until E3?
I don't know, man. I guess it depends on how far along they are. If they think it's, like, I know Phil Spencer said, he played it, looks good, the console box looks good, assuming there's some kind of aesthetic form to it at this point, I'm guessing. Then yeah, I think that I could see them doing like a small event. I don't think it'll be like a big deal, like compared to the, maybe something similar to the PlayStation Pro, maybe something like that.
Yeah, I mean, and we talked about that on the show before. That's personally what I'd like to see them do. I'd like to see them come out in May or something like that and be like, look, this is the Scorpio, these are the specs, so that by the time we get to E3, they can just show us the games. That's what people want to see from E3 right now. We want to see like that kind of wall-to-wall gaming extravaganza that we've got accustomed to the last couple of years. So if they can get out ahead of that, show us the system prior to that, get all the technical spec stuff out ahead of time, then just show us the games, I think that's the way to go. So
I agree.
We'll see how this all plays out. It's going to be interesting. Very interesting stuff going on with the Scorpio, though. Really, really, really curious to see how that all plays out. Also on the Microsoft side of things, we got the February games with gold were announced. So these games available starting February 1st. On the Xbox One side of things, February 1st through the 28th, you're going to have access to Lovers in a Dangerous Spacetime. From the 16th of February through March 15th, Project Cars will be available on the platform. On Xbox 360, which of course these are backwards compatible on the Xbox One, Monkey Island 2 Special Edition. Available February 1st through the 15th. And from the 16th through the 28th, Star Wars: Force Unleashed will be available for Games with Gold members. So, Franklin, what do you think of this lineup, dude?
It's a great lineup. I know you were very high on Lovers in a Dangerous Spacetime when that came out.
I do. I enjoyed that game very much.
I didn't personally pick it up, so I can grab Jen, bring her in here. We'll play some Lovers in a Dangerous Spacetime.
You guys will have a ball. Game's great on co-op. That's really, really good co-op game.
That's what I've heard. Like, it reviewed very well. Like I said, you gave it a glowing review as well, so looking forward to that one. The 360 games, this has been my favorite thing about the Games with Gold is getting all these 360 backwards compatible games. I never finished The Force Awakens on PS3 because I am a piece of garbage and was trying to do the... there's a code you could do to get like unlimited crystals to upgrade everything and play it on hard.
You are a piece of garbage.
I am a piece of garbage.
Just bottom of the trash can. Frankie Ayler.
So yeah, I never finished The Force Unleashed because I didn't feel like going through and getting collectibles. So I'll play it on normal on the Xbox One and not care about doing any of that stuff, and it'll be great. And we got Monkey Island 1 last month, so might even still be up there now. I think Rayman got swapped in, but either way, looking forward to playing through those. I've heard nothing but great things about those, and Project Cars, not really my type of racing game, but it's free, so I'm gonna download it.
Absolutely. JD, what are your thoughts on this lineup, man?
Yeah, man. They all look like they're fun. I loved Force Unleashed. That was great. I like that one a lot. And I've heard a bunch of people talk about that Lovers in a Dangerous Spacetime game, specifically the co-op. I don't know if is that game always co-op? Is it, or is there a single player to it?
Yeah, there is a single player. There's local co-op in that game. The game was designed with co-op in mind. It's really interesting when you're playing by yourself because you're actually controlling both of the characters. You're this astronaut, and then you have your pet dog, which controls whatever station you assign it to in your spaceship, and you're trying to kind of navigate your way through these levels, dispose of enemies, fight bosses, all that kind of stuff. And it gets very hectic when you're trying to control two people at once, and you can only have one guy like steering the ship, and then you have one guy like manning one of the weapons on the ship, and so it gets crazy trying to control both of these characters at once. And when you hop in cooperatively, it gets really fun because you guys get to control different stations, and I might tell you, hey, go man this gun, but you're like, no, I'm gonna use this one, and or I'm gonna jump in here, I'm gonna drive the ship, and it's a ton of fun cooperatively. I just got to play it over a share play, and it was a lot of fun. So I highly recommend Lovers in a Dangerous Space Time. I had the good fortune to be able to review it last year when it came to PS4, and I really enjoyed that game.
Awesome. Sounds cool.
Yeah. So if you very cool art style as well. Love the art style in that game. So if you can find somebody to play through cooperatively with, local especially, it's a really good time. So highly recommend that one.
I might do that.
Yeah. For the low price of free.
Yeah.
You could do worse, right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
So that's your games with gold for February. Very strong lineup. So people should have a good time with those ones next month. Now we've got some new bundles coming to Xbox One as well. There was one announced for Halo Wars 2 and for Forza Horizon 3. The Halo Wars 2 Ultimate Bundle will feature a 1 terabyte Xbox One S, a controller, a 14-day Xbox Live Gold membership, and Halo Wars 2 Ultimate Edition, which comes with the game's Season Pass, 4 days early access, and Halo Wars Definitive Edition, of course.
Sure.
This bundle runs $350, and it releases February 17th. On the Forza side of things, there's either a 1 terabyte or a 500 gigabyte model available with Forza Horizon 3. Those bundles are $350 and $300 respectively. The bundles will include Forza Horizon 3, a controller, the 14-day Xbox Live Gold membership, and of course a copy of the game. So yeah, there's that. If you've been holding out on those bundles, hop in there and check those ones out. A couple of quick updates here. Social Quick Play is going to be implemented as a cross-platform versus mode between PC and Xbox One for Gears of War 4. So this seems to be the next step towards them trying to implement like full cross-platform multiplayer across Xbox One S and PC. Maybe not just for Gears of War 4, but for some of the other games in their stable as well. They ran a beta or something along those lines for this cross-platform. They ran a test in public versus multiplayer back late last year. Mm-hmm. They took the feedback from that. Now they're implementing this social quick play, which I'm guessing is kind of the more casual playlist in Gears of War 4 multiplayer. So they implemented.
Gears?
Yeah.
I misunderstood you, man.
Oh,
I'm sorry about that. No, so then I my bad. I did play with people who were on PC with that.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, that's what I wanted to get at. How was that experience?
It was fine, man. I didn't have any like issues at all.
There's no different than playing anything else.
I didn't notice anything different. So I can't say that there was any difference at all, good or bad.
Cool. Yeah, so and that's I'm assuming that's how they want it. They want it to feel like you're just playing against anybody else, whether you're on PC or Xbox One. So now they're going to implement the social quick play. Part of Gears of War 4 is going to be a cross-platform experience. So this, like I said, this feels like the first step towards getting full cross-platform play with the multiplayer portion of either this game or maybe games in the future. Maybe they won't go full on with this one, but this is at least laying the groundwork for what they can do with this in the future. And that's what they want to do. They want this integrated ecosystem with the PC and the Xbox One. So this seems like an important cog in that machine. So
nicely done, man. Nicely done.
I get it now.
Now, we also the Xbox Insider program. Are either you guys in this program?
No, I think Brent is.
Brent is. Gotcha.
Nope.
JD,
nobody.
you in this at all?
Nobody's given me an invite. Unfortunately, I'm part of every bunch of Microsoft surveys and all that, but no Insider.
If Brent would stop being such a stingy bastard and invite some of you guys into this program, then we could talk about some of this stuff. But apparently, there's an updated look at the home screen. There is a new guide mode in there. They're doing some things with the guide, new multitasking options, some Cortana enhancements, some new game system updates, and a few other things that they're previewing in the Insider program right now. So, we'll have to talk to Brent about that in the future, see what he thinks about some of this stuff. If you are in the Insider program, hit us up, podcast@shortpause.com. Let us know how that's going. Let us know what you think about some of these new features that they're looking to implement to everybody in the near future.
Dude, Brent doesn't
couple-
even remember he's in the damn thing.
Yeah, that's a valid point.
Yeah, we were playing Gears before they implemented the achievement rarity thing, and he kept, oh, rare achievement. I'm sitting here like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, you don't see this? I'm like, no. So like, it finally dawned on me, like, oh yeah, you're in that preview program thing, aren't you? He's like, oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. That sounds like Brent Felsing, so I wouldn't doubt it. Next, Mass Effect Andromeda, new cinematic trailer out in the wild. Game looks great, man. I mean, every time you see it, every time I see a trailer for this, the more and more I see of it, the more exciting this game looks. JD, you had to have checked out the new trailer, right, man? I know you're a huge Mass Effect fan. What do you think of the trailer? What are you feeling now that Andromeda has a release date? We're just under 2 months away from everybody getting their hands on it, man. What are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling very bipolar about this game, man. I'm on one hand so excited for it. I absolutely loved the trilogy. It's in my top 5, maybe even top 3 favorite game franchises ever. Even 3, I wasn't a huge fan of the ending. I wasn't going to kill anybody over it, but I wasn't a huge fan of it. But even that, I still absolutely loved 3. I loved 2. 1 was amazing. Very good games. So for that, in that sense, I'm excited. It looks beautiful from what I've seen of Andromeda, but there's some other, like, the characters to me kind of I don't know. Maybe I just loved my characters from the trilogy so much that these ones I'm kind of not even giving them a chance, but they look like the most boring people I've ever seen in a Mass Effect universe. So I'm like scared. I'm scared the game might not live up to the other 3, which is unfair because it's its own thing, but don't get me wrong. I'm still super excited for it, and I'm sure it's going to be great. The trailer visually looks awesome. I just hope that it can live up to even close to the original trilogy.
What about these characters is making you feel this way? Just the way they look, or
I don't know, man. Like the Mass Effect characters from Mass Effect were so like unique, and they didn't really fit into any like archetype of like pop culture characters. And to me, like the ones from the Andromeda trailer just seem like I would see these exact characters, barring obviously not the aliens, but the human characters I would see in any modern like movie or game. Like even everything down to like their hairstyles and their facial features. It's like, wait, is this a Mass Effect game or is this like a modern pop culture game dressed up like Mass Effect? Again, I'm probably looking into it too much, but the characters kind of rub me the wrong way. But besides that, I'm super excited.
Gotcha. Cool. Yeah, outside of that, I love what I've seen of the game so far. I especially the gameplay snippets that we've had a chance to catch a look at. I think that looks really, really good. We see some of the classic Mass Effect stuff in there with the biotics and we got a glimpse of some of the RPG systems that we might see in the game too in one of the recent trailers. So all that stuff looks like that could be really cool. So yeah, the game's shaping up really nicely. Franklin, did you get a chance to check this one out?
I didn't. I'm just done watching trailers. This is one of those. I'm buying this game when it comes out.
Yeah,
I don't
media blackout.
Yep.
Yeah.
Don't need to see anymore.
I'm with you, man. So Mass Effect Andromeda, March 21st. Now, JD, question, man. So
Yes.
Zelda comes out March 3rd. So you're gonna get in there.
Oh, boy.
you're gonna play through Zelda. This is probably going to be a pretty large game. Who knows
Oh, yeah.
how many hours it's gonna take to get yourself through Zelda. So, if we're sitting here on March 21st and you still haven't completed Zelda or you still haven't done everything that you want to do in that game, do you set aside Zelda and start playing Mass Effect? Or do you say to yourself, I'm not touching Mass Effect until I finish everything I want to finish in Zelda? Where do you sit on that?
All right, so let me explain it this way for you. Let's just say Mass Effect is in my top 3, and Halo is in my top 3, and Zelda's obviously my favorite gaming franchise. First place and second place are on the ground level of the earth, and Zelda is on the moon. So literally, if somebody told me I couldn't play Breath of the Wild unless I threw out every other game and my Xbox, I would do it in a second. So there's nothing that's going to stop me from playing that game besides the game itself, if God forbid somehow it's not as crisp as and enjoyable as other Zelda games have been. So no way. I'm playing Zelda all the way through and through, and then I'll dig into Andromeda.
Mm-hmm. Any trepidation about this Zelda being just on such a bigger scale than any of the other Zeldas that we've seen to date?
No, just because they haven't let me down with a Zelda game yet. I just until they do, I just there's no reason for me to suspect they're going to let me down. I mean, there's the possibility that there'll be certain parts that feel a little barren, I guess, but for me, just being in that world, and remember, this is coming from somebody this is their absolute favorite franchise in this game, just alone, like nostalgia alone, like does something for me. So, but no, I'm not worried about it at all. Actually, I'm excited, and I think it's going to be really fun.
So that's Mass Effect Andromeda. We'll all be eagerly anticipating March 21st. We can hop in there and check this game out. Now, a couple of quick hits I want to touch on here real quick. The Banner Saga 3 has been announced. Kickstarter page is live now, right now. Only announced for PC, but you got to assume this thing's coming to console. The first two are on consoles. People are going to want to finish the saga on there as well. This was announced as the conclusion of the Banner Saga trilogy. So, Frankie, I don't think you have to worry, man. I think this will be on consoles at some point, right?
Yeah,
there's no way this doesn't come to consoles.
Yeah, actually, in the facts, one of the first questions that they addressed is the console versions. The Kickstarter, of course, for the PC version only. That's their focus. That's where that game was born. So they want to focus on getting that version out, and then the console versions will come shortly after, console and mobile.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see how much the Kickstarter ends up producing, and if maybe they don't just go PC and console like day and date together if they raise enough money for that.
Yeah.
We'll let's see how that all plays out. Also, some happy news. Disney Infinity Studio Avalanche Software has been resurrected by none other than WB. So Warner Brothers has picked them up, and they're working in familiar territory. They're working on a Cars 3 game, which I assume is going to coincide with the movie, which comes out this summer. So I sure as hell hope that this game's been in development for a long time, and they're just coming in to help finish it up. If not, I don't know how this game's going to turn out in the 6 months they have to work on it. But Avalanche is a very talented developer. They've done some great things with Disney Infinity. I'm happy to see them land back on their feet. So hopefully they get a chance to kind of spread their wings with WB and do some cool games over there, and they're not just stuck working on some licensed movie tie-in stuff. Now, final set of news here. We are going to touch on some Nintendo stuff. Some Switch news here. We had some more specs, and we got our first glimpse of the UI for the system here this week. There's a section on the the Nintendo UK website where they go over some of the stuff that's on the UI for the system. So there's a news section which has the latest info about the Switch. There's the eShop, of course, the album section, which is what saves all your screenshots in as well. There's a few other icons on there for like screen brightness, power. Some type of a controller icon is on there as well. Looks like a pretty clean UI from what we've seen. This looks similar to the image that was tweeted out by Nicholas. They have a Cave Story and 1001 Spikes fame. They tweeted out an image that had a picture of the UI on it. This looks very similar to what we saw from that. But I like what I see here. There's different users up in the top left corner, so it looks like it'll be easy to switch between profiles on here. It looks like they employ a tile system similar to like the cross media bar, like the PS4. So something just a simple line with all your games kind of side by side on it. So yeah, I like the UI. If this is what it looks like, I think that it's very clean, very easy to navigate looking type of an image. And then we also got the official word that the SDXC memory card support will be implemented as a firmware update for the system after the fact, and also 1080p 60 frames in TV mode is the maximum resolution, which we already knew because Mario Kart does that. So So that's the latest on the Switch. JD, I want to ask you, man. We talked about this on the last show, but we've had some time to process the Nintendo Switch. We've had some time to process that conference. We gave our thoughts on it at the time when it happened. We gave our thoughts as we sit here now, which for us, we feel largely the same as we did when the conference wrapped up. But where are you at with the Switch right now, man? Like, obviously Zelda's on there for you, so I know it's something where you're gonna get the system regardless, because that's your favorite franchise. That's a game you want to play. But how do you feel about the system itself right now? Do you feel better about its prospects as a new Nintendo platform? Do you feel worse about it? Are you more nervous about it? Like, where are you at on the Switch right now?
So like, I'll say this, like, before they even, when we were still calling this thing the NX and we didn't even know what it was, I had said what Nintendo should do is just make like another PlayStation or Xbox, and then if they want to do something quirky, do it as a peripheral or something. Like, that's what I would have done. We'll call it the Nintendo PlayStation, Xbox, whatever. Their version of that. And sell it for $300, and then next year or the year after, make the Switch as something you can get with it. Like, that's what I would have done. So, first of all, I don't think it was the greatest idea for them to do the handheld thing as their kind of way to try to win back the console audience. But I think the idea and the potential of playing some really cool Nintendo games on the go is going to be good enough to bring in some extra people, and I think no matter what, it's going to do significantly better than the Wii U. But with that being said, I don't think that they did everything right. I think they still botched some things. I think they did some confusing things. The internet, the online play thing, I don't understand that. I mean, we got to see it in action to know for sure.
Yeah.
So I'm of two minds on it. I think it will do all right. I don't think it will do bad. And after the conference, I was not as impressed as I expected to be. But I also know that a Mario and a Zelda game coming out within the same year can push millions of units. So that's kind of where I'm at with that.
Cool. Yeah, I think we're kind of in the same boat with you, man. So and I'm wondering too, like, when Nintendo is going to talk about some of this other stuff that we don't have any answers to. I mean, we're about to creep into February here, so we're a month away from the system now. They said they have more things to reveal, so I hope there's a Nintendo Direct in the near future here, or something that's gonna talk about some of these many questions that we still have about the system, specifically about the internet and the infrastructure of the system that we need to know more about. So I really hope they get out in front of this and let us know what's going on, or if not, then it must be bad news if they don't want to talk about it. So
yeah. I'll just say this real quick, and I've said this before. There's one of two possibilities here. Either Nintendo is so disconnected from what Western audiences in particular want, or they're just kind of phasing us out, like the Western market. They'll never totally get rid of it, but that's kind of what I see is going on. Maybe they just have kind of accepted that the times have changed and they're not quite equipped, or maybe they don't want to adapt with the rest of the world in gaming, and they want to kind of focus in on Japan mostly.
Man, that's a very dangerous proposition, especially since the console market has declined so heavily over there, and the rise of cell phones and mobile devices and tablets is even more pronounced in Japan than it is over here. So that's a very dangerous line of thinking, and I hope that's not what they're thinking, because I don't know if that's going to end well for them.
Yeah, I just don't. To me, it just seems crazy, like, how they don't understand. The reason why I say that is because some of the stuff that they come up with, just it seems like they haven't spoken with anyone from Nintendo of America, or the people in Nintendo of America don't have any say. I don't know. It's very peculiar, and maybe they're slowly just gonna try to make like a more of a niche, small kind of handheld focused thing, and Japan will be their home base, and they'll just hope that software sales will support them. I don't know. Yeah. It's weird. It's weird.
Yeah. No, I've been scratching my head about this for weeks, months, hell, years now, trying to figure out what what they're doing or what they're seeing that I'm not. So I don't know, man. But I hope Nintendo gets it together. And what we're gonna see with the Switch is we're gonna see a system that comes out. It's gonna sell out at launch. We already know that the Wii U sold 3 million units when it first came out. So this is going to be a popular system when it first comes out, especially because there's a Zelda that's going to be there when you get the system. So there's no doubt this is going to be a popular system when it comes out. It's just where does Nintendo go from here? You know, can they build on this launch that they're going to have and create a system that's going to be a viable option for not just the hardcore Nintendo fans, but for the other gamers that are out there as well. So it'll be some interesting stuff going on this year with hardware, with the Switch and with the Scorpio. So really curious to see how all this stuff plays out. A couple more things we want to note here. A few more Switch games. I Am Setsuna now a launch title, so not too surprising there. Lego Worlds announced for the Switch. That's the Minecraft type Lego game. And then Tomorrow Corporation bringing 3 games over to the Switch for launch. These are games that have been out before. World of Goo, which is a fantastic puzzle game. I mean, it's been out for years, but it's a really good puzzle game. Little Inferno and Human Resource Machine will all be there at launch for the Switch. That's something else I want to see with the Switch too. I'd really like to see them get behind the eShop. I've talked about this before, but I want to see them curate some better titles on there. Like, I don't want to talk about these $1.99 eShop titles every week when we read the Nintendo new releases. Like, I want to see them get behind like these really good indie or smaller downloadable experiences that are out there. Like, let's put some care into the eShop the same way that you put care into your first party titles and the way you curate those. Like, let's put some of that into the eShop and make it not just a repository for shovelware that we've seen for the last however many years. So hopefully seeing games like what we're seeing from Tomorrow Corporation, even though these are smaller games, these are good games, so it's a good start. I Am Setsuna, that's a good downloadable game to get on the platform, so let's hope this is more of the norm. Snipper Clips, that looks like an awesome game. So this is the kind of stuff that we need to see for the eShop. So we'll see how that all plays out here. And then a couple of 3DS things here. Pikmin 3DS, still coming this year. I think that's one of those we'll believe it when we see it. And Pikachu. A new 3DS XL on the horizon for us. So good stuff. That's gonna wrap up the show, fellas. We have come to the end of our little soiree with JD here. We appreciate you being on the show again, man. Why don't you once again let us know where we can find you, where we can tweet at you, where we can email you, all that good stuff.
Yeah, man. First of all, thanks a lot for having me, man. It was fun, and I'm glad I could help, and it's always great to talk games with some like-minded gamers, and I hope your listeners could stomach my opinions. But and also congrats on the 100 episodes, man. That's great. That's really awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, you can find me on iTunes and SoundCloud primarily. It's the Play and Listen Gaming Podcast. You know, talk some games, listen to some video game music, have a good time, and shortly there will be some YouTube content under the same name that you can find if you just type in Play and Listen Gaming. And if you want to hit me up on Twitter, it's at Play and Listen, capital P Lay, capital N, capital Listen.
Awesome. Franklin, where can we find you, my friend?
You can find me on Twitter, Xbox Live, PlayStation Network, YouTube, pretty much anywhere at Viperstrike, VYPRSTRYKE. This Thursday night, I'm going to try and gather JD and Mazu for some more Warhammer Vermintide. And then, JD, I think Friday night, man, we should do some Halo or something.
Oh man, I'm down. I do want to start streaming a shooter on Friday nights. That is something I'm definitely going to start doing, and I'm so down to play some Halo with you, buddy.
Let's do it. Let's do Friday night. We're gonna stream some Halo. We'll gather you. We'll see who else is out there. If you want to play Halo with us, just hit one of us up on Twitter. Either myself or JD or any of us here, really.
So we'll look forward to that this week. Of course, as always, you can find me not tweeting at Piccolo930 on Twitter. That's my PSN ID as well, Piccolo930. The Thursday Night Indie Spotlight is found on our Twitch channel every Thursday night, 10 p.m. Eastern. on Short Pause Live on Twitch is the handle. So check that out. Sounds like this week it'll be a lead-in for the Vermintide stream, so be able to catch the Thursday night Indie Spotlight. Then you can watch Frankie and JD and Madzu play some Warhammer.
Oh, the old double header.
Yeah, the old double header on Thursday nights.
The Indie Spotlight's my favorite stream you guys do. Just to say, I love that, man.
Oh, nice. Well, thank you, man. We appreciate that. I have a good time doing it. It exposes myself first and foremost to some of these games that I don't always get to play, and we find some gems on there sometimes that are really fun. So it's been a really good time doing that throughout the last year. So I'm looking forward to doing it even more this year. You can email us, of course, podcast@shortpause.com. So give us your feedback, your questions, anything, whatever's on your mind. Just let us know. We'll read your comments on the show, and we'll talk about it. So if you want to hear us spout and pontificate on anything that's on your mind, hit us up at podcast@shortpause.com. On Twitter, we're at the Short Pause. You can follow the website there. Make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel, which is Short Pause Gaming on YouTube. The podcast itself can be found on iTunes, SoundCloud, TuneIn Radio, and Google Play. So look for the Short Pause Gaming Podcast on the service of your choice. If you like this podcast, if you really like this podcast, go over to iTunes, give us a 5-star rating, write a nice little review, let us know why you like the show. We appreciate it. If you're not quite ready to give us 5 stars yet, go on into the comment section, either in this post or even on YouTube there when you're watching the video. Let us know what your feedback is. Let us know what you want to see, what we can do better, all that jazz. If you just want to leave a comment, that's totally cool as well. We love to hear from you guys, love to read what you guys have to say. So don't hesitate to come over there and let us know what you think. Let us know what we can do to get to be a 5-star show for you. Obviously, Bender and Brent are not here, but make sure you're following them as well. Bender_guitar on Twitter. Bender's at PAX South right now. So, make sure you're following him on Twitter. He'll give you some updates on what's going on down there. We'll obviously get his feedback on the next show. So I'm looking forward to hearing his thoughts on the Switch and what he was able to play while he was down there at the show. So be on the lookout for that. Bender has a plethora of IDs here. I'm going to try to get these right. But on PSN, he's MeBender82, right?
I think PSN's me _
No, me_Bender.
Yeah.
MeBender82 is Xbox,
yes.
right? MeBender82 is Xbox. Bender_guitar is Twitter. And on Nintendo, he's
Bender82, I think.
Bender82. Okay.
So.
So some form of that is how you contact Bender. Sorry for butchering.
Just type them all into each thing.
Yeah, just type them all in. You'll find Bender. Brent, you can find him on Twitter at thedude1979. He's thedude79 on PSN, the real dude79 on Xbox, and I don't know what he is on Nintendo anymore.
Non-existent.
Non-existent, yeah. So, and that's gonna do it. So once again, thank you to JD for coming on the show. Thanks for doing this with us, man. It was a good time. Enjoyed talking games with you. Make sure you check out the Play and Listen podcast. It's a good show every week. I enjoy it. You guys will enjoy it as well. I'm confident in that. So for Frankie, for JD, I'm Ben. For Brent and Bender, thanks again for watching the show. We'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So long.